What's going on, Internet? The Black Okage here, aka TBH, and to be honest, I'd like to welcome you guys back to the Gaming Illuminati podcast. We are the Enlightened Gamers, and you are now tuned into episode 148. If you're watching the video version of the show at youtube.com/GI updates, know this show's available on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, and all other major podcast platforms. Be sure to rate the show 5 stars on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. We need your 5-star rating to move up in that algorithm and bring in new potential listeners to help grow the platform. Also, follow the podcast on social media. We post daily on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Our handle for all social media pages is @GI Updates. And without further ado, allow me to introduce you to my co-host, the first of which was last to join the Discord call today. So I'll make sure he's first to contribute 25% of the conversation today, because we got 4 people. Ether, say what up to the people.
What's going on?
All right, we're already starting out of control. Anyways, and my second co-host is a dad on the mission. Too bad that mission doesn't entail him finishing his games. UTXJG the Don, say what up to the people, bro.
I want to go save the city after this podcast.
I really hope they stop doing this shit in the next 5 minutes.
No, we're not. This is going the whole time.
Oh, shit.
Going.
But there's more today. We have a special guest, and he goes by KDot the God on social media. Let the people know who you are, where they can follow you. Links to his pages will be in the description box below. But yeah, let people know what you do, what you about, man.
Man, my name is KDot the God, GAWD, no disrespect to GOD above, but I'm an anime content creator. I play a lot of action RPGs, do a lot of, conversations about anime, debates, topics, podcasts. I do the whole 9. I'm a whole content creator that you're going to love to see, especially if you love anime. I'm on every platform, TikTok, Twitter, IG, Twitch, like he just said. My stuff will be in the comment section below, so make sure to go check me out.
Cool. Links in the description box below if you're watching the video version of the podcast. Before we get into the show, also friendly reminder, make sure to join the Discord, discord.gg/GI updates. It's totally free. But also we have features for premium members. We do monthly giveaways, consultations, watch parties, the whole 9. Once again, that's discord.gg/GI updates. Before we get into the leading conversations, freebies for the month of November 2023. On PlayStation, you get the Mafia 2 Definitive Edition, Dragon Ball Breakers. Didn't you play that game, KDot? I think I seen you stream that.
Yeah, I was playing that game, bro, and I'm pissed that it's free now.
What'd you think of it?
When it first came out. The game was actually fun. I don't know why they always shit on anime games, especially the anime community, because we've been looking for new types of game. That's an asymmetrical Dragon Ball game. It's actually fun, but the thing that messed it up was the fact they weren't dropping enough content. It was $20 when it should have been free. And it was a fun game while it lasted. That's all. It just didn't have enough updates.
I don't know if I agree with that statement you just made about the anime community is looking for different games. Why are they so excited about Naruto to Boruto Shinobi Strikers? What was it? The Ultimate Edition, the DLC?
Bro, I don't look. They want new games. When the new games come out, they shit on them and they default back to Storm. They default back to Dragon Ball Z Fighters. I don't know. It's weird. It's like they comfort games. I don't know.
Abusive relationship. Also, you get Alien Fireteam on PlayStation, and then on PC, Star Wars: Knights of the Old Republic, KOTOR. That's a classic. Rage 2. Centipede Recharged, and then a bunch of other games that don't matter. I don't even know why I put those on the list. The main thing is Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. If you have not played that, it's free on Amazon Prime. Check it out. All right, without further ado, let's get into the leading conversations of episode 148. Now, since the last podcast, one of the biggest games of 2023 released. The internet has been on fire since this game has come out. A lot of people are shouting, Game of the Year, Game of the Year, Game of the Year. The game we're talking about is Spider-Man 2. This is the follow-up, which ironically it's the 3rd game in the series, but it's Spider-Man 2. It's the follow-up to Spider-Man 1 as well as Miles Morales. The boys are back. This time they're in the same game together. You get to switch between both characters in certain moments of the story. All new story involving the symbiote. You are our guest, KDot. I seen you streaming this, so I want to know.
Yeah. And
this is, by the way, we're going to steer the conversation in multiple directions. First, I want to get everybody's opinion on it, and then we're going to talk about some other things involving Spider-Man, some controversies. But you're the guest, so I want to know. Give us the good, bad, and the ugly when it comes to Spider-Man 2.
Oh, the good is the game was graphically is amazing. The new combat system is dope. The overhaul with the UI I thought was amazing. The only thing I don't really like is the suits, the glitches, and how much I don't get to play Miles. I understand that it's a second game to the first Spider-Man, which is Peter's story. But if you're gonna have both superheroes in there, let me play Miles a little bit more. I feel like it's 75% Peter and 25% Miles with a dash to just go do some stuff if you want to as Miles. Overall, I like the game. I do see how it can be Game of the Year contender, but I think the few things that's holding it back is the glitches, is the fact that you can't play Miles. I want to say the Mary Jane missions, but the Mary Jane missions was better this time, but I didn't care for him. Like, there's no way she's running people down, kicking people, shooting them in the neck with a taser and getting off while Spider-Man is taking one hit and he's falling back on his ass. I don't get it, but overall the game is fun. I love it. I just want more Miles, man. That's all.
My chat tried to tell me it's because, like, I guess, like, on one of the computer notes or something, or it's like DLC, they said that she was training with Silver Sable. I was like, what that got to do with being stronger than Spider-Man?
She ain't got no powers, bro.
Silver Sable's a worse Black Widow. Like, what are we talking about here, bro?
Yeah, she said that in the game. I was like, okay, whatever. I don't believe it.
I went right over that. That's really it. I don't really see too much ugly besides the glitches where you're going through buildings. Sometimes you can't finish the last Mysterio missions because the dude is not there at all, or he's glitching through the ground. Other than that, the game is pretty good. It's pretty good.
Ethos, give us your take. I know you finished the game. How are we giving us the good, bad, and the ugly on Spider-Man 2?
Justice. No.
Oh,
no, I enjoyed it. Kind of agree with pretty much what KDot was saying. I kind of agree with most of it. I think I really enjoyed. I thought the story was really cool. I did like the ability to switch between Miles and Peter. I do agree that it did feel slightly towards Peter, but I think that's just because the main plot driven, the whole thing with the symbiote and stuff like that, it's definitely more Peter's thing. But I do really like how at first I was a little worried story wise about Miles and like what his like thing was going to be, because initially it felt like a lot of it was falling on Peter. Like Peter was going through this internal struggle, and Miles is kind of there like, oh, hey, but then they kind of tied it in with blanking on his name, Mr. Negative. They tied it in with him, and at first I was kind of like, I don't really feel like this feels like a strong enough motivation, I feel, for Miles to like have his own struggle. But then when they tied it in with the end with his powers, I was like, okay, that's actually kind of cool. I like the game. I mean, the gameplay is pretty much very similar to the first game. They just added a bunch of new powers, new suits. That stuff's all good. Some of the stuff that I didn't like, that I felt was a little bit like kind of meh in the first game, they made a little bit better in the second one. Some of the side quests I really enjoyed in this, but some of the other side quests I felt were like kind of like Ubisoft-y. They were just like collectathons and stuff like that. So I kind of was like, okay, but like the stuff like with Howard and the one with like the old dude on the bench who got lost, those were like some really big,
the old black guy.
Yeah, the old black guy.
My granddaughter hates me.
Yeah, they're really good. Like I did the Howard mission with Miles, and that was really touching. And I did the old man mission with Peter, which I felt like tied with like his relationship with Mary Jane really well. I thought that was really good. I do agree. Probably the only negatives I have really is definitely like, I felt like it was definitely very noticeable. The actual like the polish was kind of like, it was polished, but I ran into a couple of bugs and glitches, and noticeably, I don't really mind if a game crashes a couple of times because it is what it is, but like it was actually noticeable to a point where like the game was actually crashing on me quite a bit, especially like if I died and it reset the checkpoint, the game crashed on me a couple times consistently. And at certain points in the story campaign, the mission crashed on me, especially one part in the Venom section. It crashed on me, and that kind of pissed me off because I was pretty far and I had to redo it all. But other than that, I think like those are like the little things to set back, and I do agree. I was tweeting about when I got to the Mary Jane mission, I rolled my eyes. I was like, oh God, no, please! Like they're making us do this again, and I was like, I'm so sick of this. But yeah, they did improve it. But again, it's like, me personally, I'm sorry, I paid $70 to play Spider-Man. I didn't pay $70 to play Splinter Cell Simulator with Mary Jane. I just didn't.
Metal Gear Mary Jane.
Yeah, I feel like it's just my take is, if I told you before Spider-Man came out, like before the first game came out, and I told you, hey, you're going to play a Spider-Man game, but in it, you're going to be playing a third-person shooter with stealth in it, you'd be like, what are you talking about? You wouldn't believe me. But yeah, I don't know why they shoehorn this in. I get they want to get Mary Jane more involved, but she's like a reporter. I feel like they should come up with some better ideas instead of like combat sections in order to make her feel better. I get that they thought the first game was bad. People hated the first part because it was just stealth and you had no way to interact. You just had to like keep sneaking around and that was it. So they're like, oh, we'll just give her a gun and that solves the problem. But I feel like this doesn't I don't know. It just makes it less annoying, but I don't feel like it still is fun to do. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
What's wrong with her just being a love interest? That's my thing.
You feel me? Like,
I think that's perfectly fine.
Let her
keep
be
it a
the
buck.
one good Mary Jane.
I get it.
One good one.
I get
She's
it.
cool already. I
Representation,
thought she was
strong
already a
women,
good
right?
character.
But
she's already a
like
good character.
the side missions with the fire side missions with the old girl, the police officer, she was the strong female lead. Like every chick doesn't need to be, because not every man is a fucking superhero. I feel like they be trying too hard sometimes with that shit and it shoehorned it in. But Jay,
the unfortunate agenda, yeah.
How you feeling about the game, Jay?
I don't want to sound like I'm shitting on the game because
speak your truth. Speak your truth. Because niggas say all we do is agree with each other. Talk your shit.
You know I'm going to. I have no fear. You know I'm unfiltered here. So I gave my initial opinions on the stream a while back, but I feel like outside of the story, this game did not improve enough technically and gameplay wise for me to say, hey, it's a game of the year. I especially this year, I do not believe that this game did enough for me to be like, hey, this is game of the year.
I agree with you.
And I've heard multiple people say it's because of my bias or I don't play Souls game. Like AB Smooth, he argued with me. He was like, I don't play Soulsborne games at all. So all the games that we played throughout the year, like they don't count to me. They don't exist. So Spider-Man is my game of the year, you know, because I'm biased. I'm like, okay, that's fair. But I cannot say definitively after playing Spider-Man 2 that this was a huge leap from Spider-Man 1 and Miles Morales. I do agree that the story is good, and I'm almost done with the game. So the story is good. The side missions still annoy me because outside of getting to the end of some of these side missions, I don't want to just be bombarded with a whole bunch of things in my face while I'm trying to get to the main mission. I don't care about the hunter's hideouts. I don't care about getting the spider bot collectibles. I don't care about any of that stuff. I am not a completionist. I'm past that point in my life. I don't care about that.
Dude, hold on. To be fair, I gotta get you on this. To be fair, JG, some of the best content is actually in the side quest. So it's actually it's like that you didn't do it, especially the spider bot shit. You would not expect it, but the ending to the spider bot missions was actually pretty fire.
No, I'll defend JG. No, it isn't. There's nothing special about
I disagree.
That. I did not wait. Okay,
get there yet.
I literally was doing it.
What about the fire missions? What did you think of the ending of the fire missions?
Okay, see, that's different though. The fire mission is a good, like I said, the Howard mission, the one with the old man, and the fire missions. Those are the best side quests in the game. Don't get me wrong. That fire mission, like how it progresses, where at first you think it's like it's one thing, and then they give you the cool like plot twist at the end. That was excellent. That was like beautiful. I thought that was the best side quest like sequence I've seen from all the Spider-Man games. I think that is the best one. It's especially the cool little like because there's like a oh shit moment at the end where you just realize, oh, that's so fucking cool. That was good. I agree with those. But the things that JG are talking about, I also agree. I don't think doing the sand mission stuff is fun. I don't think doing the symbiote constantly the same thing, defend the computer mission over and over is fun. I don't think the Ubisoft break into the base and beat everybody up is fun. It's just stuff that, this is what I think, and I agree with JG on this. If these had been in a Ubisoft game, people would be slandering and saying it was meant. But because it's a Spider-Man game,
you got a point though. I enjoy the beat 'em up stuff.
This nigga took the glasses off. Let's go. Talk your shit.
I will back you up, JG. I will double down on what JG said because I was thinking it, but I was like, I want someone else to say it because people just immediately say, "Oh, well, I'm just trying to be an asshole." I agree with JG. I think in this year where we had banger after banger after banger, you got to come with your A+ game and you got to come up with something brand new. And I agree with JG. I don't think that Spider-Man 2 does enough. I think it's a great game. Does it get nominated? I think so, just because I think it's a really well put together game, has a really great story. But does it beat it? Can it beat everything else? No, I don't think it does.
I honestly think it was disingenuous. We've seen a lot of early reviewers and our peers, for example, as soon as the embargo was over, they were like, hey, I 100% at the game. I completed the game in its entirety. This is game of the year. And I'm like, really? I couldn't believe it. And then I got a chance to play it for myself. And again, I didn't see a huge leap from 1 to Miles Morales to 2 that would make me feel the same way, regardless of
I kind of see it.
Regardless of some of the side missions that you all are saying are good, I just don't want all of that stuff to be thrown in my face. I feel like it's a distraction from getting to the main mission. That's how I feel like. And again, I play my games different now. Like I don't have an infinite amount of time. Yeah, I am an old man. my son's on the way next week. I'm trying to beat this game, as fast as I can. So I don't
shit.
have that time.
Let's get a congratulations.
Thank you.
Number 2.
He's on the way.
All right, number 2.
He's on the way. So yeah, prepare for me to not beat even more games. Like I got Yakuza next week. Guess who's not playing it? Me. I'm not really playing it.
Only his baby will play Yakuza.
Yeah, so about to be a struggle. But anyway, so I play my games a little bit different. So again, this is just my perspective. So I just don't want to do all the side missions. I just feel like they were just a nuisance to me. So. And I also feel like the gameplay, like minus the extra move that Peter and Miles receive, the Venom powers and then the Spider powers, I still don't feel like it was enough to again progress or give me a huge step up from 1 to Miles Morales to 2. And that's really the thing. I think that the story was the thing that captivated a lot of people. But again, are we going to say that this is a game of the year because of that story? Because I feel like there were other stories and other video games that came out this year that were way better than the Spider-Man story. Again, I haven't gotten to the end yet.
Someone came out last week and they say Alan Wake got the best. I'm just saying.
Yeah, even the story, like I was weirded out by when people were saying game of the year because like I haven't finished the game at the time of this recording. I'm gonna beat it after this. I'm like I got like 3 more missions left, and where I'm at, unless there's some crazy plot twist, I do feel like the majority of the story was very predictable. But I'll give y'all too. Like I think like half the side quest has some of the best. That's why I said some of the best content. I agree. The Sandman and the Mysterio stuff was kind of annoying to me. I agree with y'all that I think that they didn't do enough for it to be game of the year, but I think it should be nominated. I would define this game as a very solid PlayStation exclusive. Like
it's a safe sequel.
Yeah.
8.5. It's like an 8.5, and I think what held it back from the 9 for me is the bugs and glitches. Literally every time I played this game, I encountered bugs and glitches. And what annoyed me most is in the reviews, nobody mentioned it, but I did some research, and from my understanding, it was the day 1 patch that introduced
that broke it.
Yeah. So like the reviewers played a different game from us, so they weren't being disingenuous, and a lot of people were trying to like push an agenda against them. It's not like, damn, the patch broke the fucking game. But yeah, the bugs held it back for me. I agree with Jay. I think they needed to do something to like kind of push it. I don't feel like they pushed the envelope enough. And I'm not the type to talk shit. I'm gonna give solutions. So like I feel like the first thing they could have did, which was it was right in their face and they fumbled the bag, which was co-op. You got 2 Spider-Man right there, and it didn't. And some people were like, oh, you can't do it because of the story. If they didn't want to do it because of the story, they could have easily put like a time trial combo. A matter of fact, remember the Ghost of Tsushima mode that they added on that had its own separate story, and it was like co-op. They could have did something like that where it was like its own separate mode. It added more content to it because one of the main critiques people have had about this game is it's too short. So like I feel like they dropped the ball with that. And then second, I don't know, is it me, but they hyped up Kraven the Hunter, which he is like a badass, but like when he comes into the picture, I never really felt threatened by his goons. They were just like more the difference between them and like the regular street thugs was the outfits
to me.
Yeah, and like I feel like they dropped the ball because like they hyped up the hunters to be like, oh, they really can take out Spider-Man. They should have put more emphasis on the stealth. I felt like the stealth aspect of the game took a back seat, and I felt like because the hunters were supposed to be more threatening, I feel like there should have been a little bit more emphasis on the stealth mechanics and what Spider-Man can do in the game.
I'm sorry, this just reminded me. I think too. I think like if they had added a sort of like a threatening type of enemy type that would be hunting him, like hunting you, like that was the thing.
That would have been sick. That would have been sick.
Yeah, I remember a lot of people when the game came out. There were a lot of people were making comparisons with Batman. They were trying to say, "Oh, best superhero game," and obviously everyone says like the pedestal is Batman Arkham City or one of the Batman trilogy. And one of the things that people bring up about how like the evolution of those games, right? Like how they went from Asylum and then City was such a massive like leap in like quality and scale, like everything was way different. One of the things I was thinking was I was surprised. I was like, you have Kraven, right? You got a dude that's apparently hunting you, but it's not really portrayed inside the main missions. Like, why didn't they have some sort of like enemy type or something like that that's like hunting you while you're like going through the city? Like, I think that would have been awesome if it had been like you're just naturally just swinging your web going to like your next objective or something, or just swinging minding your own business, and something just like grabs you and forces you into a fight. Another thing, I don't know, maybe I missed it. Where the fuck is Taskmaster?
You know, that's another issue I have with the game. So, like, you remember in the original game?
He's in the first game, right?
Yeah, you remember in the original game, they said that it was some secret society that hired him to attack Spider-Man. And, like, I'm waiting. I'm like, are they going to reveal it in the game?
Yeah, where is it?
They pay that part off. I'm like, yo, was it the Hand that was after him? Like him and Elektra or some shit like that? Yeah. That would have been cool.
I'm doing it wrong. I think Kraven, I don't know that full much about the comics. I know a little bit about Kraven because I played a lot of, like, some of the older Spider-Man games and stuff like that. I didn't think it was like at points I thought he was intimidating. I think he did an excellent job performance wise. I think he was a solid villain, right? Obviously Venom is the star, the big star. He's the number one like best villain part of the entire game. But the one thing I didn't like about the one thing I didn't, I guess if I'm nitpicking about the story, I didn't like how so many villains just got killed off screen. Scorpion got killed off screen. Rhino, we didn't even know what happened to Rhino. Rhino was on a pedestal.
You saying Scorpion get killed on screen?
Yeah, Scorpion gets, I think, like he just gets shot, right? Like they just kill him.
Gets stabbed. He gets stabbed in his own little
in a cutscene, right? That's it. But Rhino, who like is like the big threat within both Miles and the first game, right? They use him twice. In the second game, he isn't even shown. He's apparently killed off screen by Kraven. They just show that cutscene of him just killing off people.
It's confusing because in the first game, Peter was really struggling to fight all of them.
Yeah,
and they were kind of hinting at the Sinister Six because it was 5 of them,
right?
And then
Kraven comes and just claps him like it's nothing. That was kind of weird.
And then like
Vulture,
again, like, Vulture's gone. And they're just shown as like just their equipment's left. And I'm like, I get I'm supposed to fear Kraven, but I feel like, you know, it's the number one rule, right? Show, don't tell, right? Like if they had shown me, like Scorpion was a good idea. I'll give you that, KDot. They showed him killing Scorpion.
He's an
idiot. But Scorpion was good. But like to not show Rhino and just have his thing on the, you know, have his like head on a platter and you know, the other ones, and they were going to do the same thing to Mr. Negative, but they were like, oh, let's just make Miles, you know, fight him. Like these things I was kind of like, okay, I don't know. I feel like there were so many unutilized like threads and stuff that existed between Miles and the first game that I feel like just never have anything to do with the second game. Like they're not even brought up or they're barely even mentioned. And I was like, this is kind of weird. So I do agree. That's like one, maybe I'm nitpicking, but that's like one thing I
Hey, look, no, we need to nitpick because again, I feel like people are tripping about this game. Like
maybe
again,
I was tripping because I thought this was game of the year.
Nah, like, it's cool to like it, but again, I think out of all the games that we played this year, it's not up there for me.
I have a theory. I feel like the people who are shouting this is definitively game of the year. Like I feel like they're kind of in the same boat as like the Uncharted gamers. Like they didn't really play too many games that came out this year. Because like, I mean, it's been a joke on the podcast, but there has been a lot of people on Twitter shouting that gaming is stale, and we're like, did y'all play any games this year? Because
my backlog is crazy.
Yeah, I'm not gonna argue. If you think Spider-Man 2 is game of the year, I'm not gonna argue with you because it's a respectable choice. But when you say it's definitively the game of the year in 2023, that's when that's when I start to question you. I'm like, did you play anything this year, man? Because it's been too many goddamn games.
I'm like, bro, we've been memeing, like they were memeing Spider-Man 2 and Starfield, comparing butts, bro. They were comparing Mary Jane butt.
That was the weirdest thing to come out of the Spider-Man release.
I'm like, this is what we're doing. I'm like, seriously, I'm like, I can't take y'all serious because y'all are doing this. Like, come on, man. I'm not like no game of the year talk out of y'all who want to do that.
Who got the bigger butts?
you know the interesting thing I've heard from this conversation. It was, I think two of y'all has said y'all felt like y'all played Peter too much and like Miles took a back seat. I'm gonna steer this into like the other part. I want to talk about some of the controversies surrounding this game.
Oh God.
One of the main critiques I've seen is a lot of people felt like Peter took a back seat to Miles. So it's interesting to hear y'all say that you felt like Peter was the main one that was playing. So like I want to hear, why do y'all feel like the way that y'all do in terms of like the balance between the two Spider-Men?
The way the story is written, Peter, when he starts becoming like and basically he becomes a dickhead. When he becomes like a dickhead, having the power for too long, he literally pushes Miles away. And parts of the game, they actually lock away. You can't play Miles at all. You have to play Peter. There's like segments of the game where it's like you can only play Peter here. Miles is unavailable. There are little parts where like you have to play Miles when Peter goes AWOL, and you're just like, you know, Peter's off some crazy shit. So Miles, you got to do something. That's when like you have to play Miles. But I feel like, and this is just what I feel, it's just because when you're taking the suit off, right? A lot of it is in fact, from what I perceive. Now, if we look, I'm pretty sure like if someone has like a stat sheet of every mission in the game and there's actually like a statistic that says, oh no, it's actually close to half, I believe it. But I feel like it's just the feeling of how it felt. It was like you play as Peter, then you get to play a little bit as Miles. But then on majority of the main quest, it feels like you're Peter, and then there's Harry, and then there's the relationship between those two, and now you're riding bikes with each other, and then like that's a whole thing, and Miles has nothing to do with this at all. And it feels like Miles shows up when shit's gone wrong, or I can't find Peter because Peter's doing some crazy shit, and then MJ calls Miles, and then Miles shows up to try to like figure out where things go, or MJ takes a chunk of the game to like, you know, create a plot point to make Peter and Miles go to a certain place. I just my perception, I do feel like Miles had more side mission stuff, I feel he had more side.
I
missions
agree
than
with
Peter.
you. I agree
But
with you.
main mission wise, I think it's more Peter focused because the whole story revolves around Peter.
Even though side missions, though, you still had the option to play as Peter.
As Peter,
it wasn't.
yeah.
It wasn't no. They didn't force you to play Miles. They forced you to play Peter. And half of Miles' mission, you probably was in a school suit walking around doing stuff for the city. It wasn't really being Spider-Man. While Peter, you really got to actively be Spider-Man. You got to be symbiote. You got to have the little dickhead, asshole-ish, go crazy wherever you want.
Miles disappears, right? Like he gets kidnapped, right? Yeah.
I don't know what's happening with
bro.
Miles right now. I don't know, bro, at school. I don't know if he talked to his mama. I don't know if he's at the gravesite visiting his daddy, talking to uncle. I don't know what's going on.
Am I an asshole? Real quick. Am I an asshole for feeling like early on when they were constantly bringing up his essay, I was getting irritated by that? It's like, I gotta write my essay.
Bro, if you don't do that essay, you don't do that freaking essay, man.
Mama know he's Spider-Man.
And then Rio sitting there blowing up the phone, talking to Peter. Where's my son? Where's my son? Bro, literally throughout the majority of the game, Miles was blowing up Peter's phone and he wasn't answering.
Yeah.
Bro. He was not answering. So that should tell you everything right there. And addition to what Ethos said, literally throughout the majority of the game, that is what's going on. So there should be no reason why people are saying that you can play as Miles or as Peter. That's not true.
I just wanted to ask y'all because I did a video, like I do a series where I do like bad reviews on good games, and like I went on Metacritic and I read all the negative reviews for Spider-Man 2, and like it's clickbait.
Yeah, I know. It's free,
but it's free content, baby. They're like 50% of the comments were like, I feel like Peter took a backseat, and I'm like, did we play the same game? And like it's like there's no way for me to prove it, but it felt like there were some racial undertones. Like that black was just on the screen way too much. Man. That's the way I took it. I was like,
that's seriously what it is.
It's like he's just too powerful. Miles can't do that. They're trying to make him seem like he's better. It was a lot of that. I will say,
funny about that. Okay, so you said you're almost at the end of the game, so I'm pretty sure I'm not spoiling this. Just a small spoiler if someone hasn't played the game. So the point where basically Peter is so far gone that Miles has to fight him for the 1v1.
Yeah.
I was like, now if Miles beats him with the symbiote suit on, I bet you people are gonna be mad about. Like I was like, I'll play it. They gonna be mad because that technically means that Miles was stronger than Peter because Peter had a more powerful suit, had more powerful powers than Miles did. But yeah, like how Miles actually like strategically beats him within that boss fight and like.
I'm gonna say, but he has that's still not a good argument because he has a blatant weakness with the symbiote and its sound. So he could be. He was struggling against Kraven too. So like, it's not a good argument.
Right. But what I'm saying is that like he was taking like he was taking. I don't know how to word this. Okay, so he was straight up like the symbiote power basically like it ramps your power up. It makes you more powerful. You can. Physically, you're able to decimate people a lot more powerful than like his regular suit. Like he even says this multiple times. Like even though he had the iron, claws and everything else, that
the symbiote's more powerful.
Yeah, like man, I wish I still had the suit at the end.
Yeah,
like, you literally said, I wish I still had those powers.
I wish I still had these powers. I feel like I need to save everybody, so I need this drug in order to do it. It's basically a drug abuse analogy. But like it was just like like if he hits you with that type of shit, like a lot of people was getting knocked out like real quick when he was doing that, and Miles got hit quite a bit. Like I'm talking like Miles was getting like. That shit felt a little motivated the way he was beating the shit out of him. Like I was ready to hear. Like,
Peter wanted to say the N-word with the suit on.
If he was going full symbiote, I was like, if that man had said a slur to Miles because Miles was like not letting him do his thing, I wouldn't even been mad. I'd be like, you know what, that would have been.
Yeah, you got it, bro.
Yeah, you got it. Like
I felt like that type of stuff they were kind of nitpicking the story. Like I halfway understand it, but sometimes you got to suspend disbelief just a little bit. If anything, I feel like there were points in the story that were complete bullshit to me, and this is. How do I even say this without even the scene? I was talking about it because it happened. The scene where Harry, and it's not a spoiler, it's all in the trailers. Yeah. The scene where Harry becomes Venom. That was such bullshit. You mean to tell me the guy in the movie where he was unconscious and he was dodging fucking Doctor Strange, the fastest probably reflexes in Marvel.
And he didn't stop it.
And this sick guy, he didn't even detect it.
Here's the other thing. Why did the spider sense go off? When his spidey sense
that's what I said. Where was his spider? That moment was such bullshit and such convenient.
That one I 100% was like. That was when I was like, the writing is just. This is just plot convenience. This is that technically. There's no way Peter would have not seen that like coming and would have stopped it before he hit him. So thank you for reminding me. That was the other thing.
Or the scene where Mary Jane jumps in front of Peter, and I'm just like. What was the purpose of that? Like,
okay, let me give a applause. The thing they did MJ really good with when she turned into the symbiote, Scream. That was beautiful. I think that whole segment and thing, and her thing of how who she was inside and how she felt about Peter, like that was really good. I really like that. Like that.
Do you know what made that section really so good though? They were dropping. They dropped.
Yeah, they're writing real shit. It was
they
real
dropped
shit,
some life lessons in there because like
when
the symbiote takes over your body, it's like you drunk. You start.
You start saying what you really feel.
You should have said you didn't beat the game,
man. It's cool, man. I'm just listening. That's what I'm
Wait, no. I will go for that. No, you should tell me shut up. I thought we did. How far are you? How far are you? So it was. I'll spoil nothing else. How far are you?
I'm literally at where Peter really just start tripping with the symbiote. That's really
we're done. We apologize to everybody in the comments too. Skip past all this shit. Let me put because we still on Spider-Man. I still got some more.
They gonna get on our head again. They gonna
what the fuck?
It's hard to talk about, but to be fair, it's hard to talk about this game without spoiling it because there's not much new gameplay wise.
That's why I was letting y'all go ahead, but that one I didn't know nothing about. I'm like,
don't worry about it. I'm glad I didn't explain it fully. I won't explain the context of how it happens. So
it's a small section.
Yeah. So don't worry. I didn't really fully explain.
Big section.
Yeah, it's a big thing, but
it's a big plot point. But it's a small section.
I won't explain to you how it happens, so then you at least still have that surprise. So,
let's pivot the conversation another way in terms of Spider-Man. Another thing that I've seen a lot of people say in terms of controversy is Spider-Man went woke. And you know what the people will say on the internet: you go woke, you go broke. Now, the main reason, and this comes from me reading the comments on Metacritic, the negative reviews. It seems like when people don't like something, they just give it a 0. Like they don't even give like it a 5 or a 6 with context. Niggas be like 0, it's a trash. Da 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 da. So the main reason I saw a lot of 0 out of 10s is they said the game went woke, and the reason is there's a mission with Miles in the game where you have to help a dude during homecoming ask out another dude because he's shy. It's a mission where you help a gay dude, right? By the way, this mission is totally you don't have to do it. It's a side mission, right? The mission lasts maybe like 10 minutes. It's a very easy mission. Just connect some web lines or whatever, but people are saying they uninstalled, they refund, worst game of the year. What's your take on the go woke, go broke social media stuff going on here, JG? You're our social justice warrior.
I didn't know about this one, man. I didn't know about this one. Literally anything involving the LGBTQ community is going to get hit with stuff. They're like, I don't want that in any video game. Like anything that I enjoy, I don't want that in there. And it's ridiculous because it's like, bro, we're in 2023. You shouldn't let these things bother you, but somehow it continues to come back around and really expose, show people true colors that, hey, you don't like people who, don't feel the same way that you do, that, that it like, the opposite sex or the same sex, and have different lifestyles. Like it's ridiculous that, people are still going through this and going as far as just giving something a 0 or very, very low score and ultimately, destroying what the overall score of something should be just because you feel some type of way. So it's ridiculous. I mean, these things, I get that at some point when we were talking about like MJ, for example, like sometimes we do feel like there is an agenda. Sometimes we do feel like certain people go a little bit too far to try to push a certain point or a certain narrative. I do understand that. I do acknowledge it. But at the same time, it's like, bro, if it's in the game and you don't like it or whatever form of media that you consume, just ignore it. Unless like the entire thing just like makes it complete left and that's all that they're doing is talking about something and it has literally nothing to do with the plot point of, anything that you experienced before. Okay, I can understand, giving it a little bit of hate. But if it's just a small section, if it's optional, you said it was a side mission. It's optional, bro. Like what do you go do? Just don't play it, bro. I don't get it. Just don't play it.
I think the funny thing about this is, like, first of all, it's only one mission, so there's no reason to be butthurt. But also, it shows you how much people don't actually know about the character. I feel like people like to push their own personal agendas on things without even knowing. What's the name? Stan Lee, the creator, is actually on record saying the beauty of Spider-Man is that anybody can be it. His body is fully clothed. It was like a video I seen on YouTube. It was an interview he did. And he's like, yeah, they could be black, white, whatever, gay. He's like, Spider-Man can be anybody. And then also he literally calls himself the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, which means he likes to help the everyday man. Doesn't matter what they are. He doesn't give a fuck. So it actually shows you don't actually know anything about the character. You're trying to push whatever agenda that you got. But I was like, it's one mission.
Like
so.
Spider-Man can be everything, but black, Hispanic, gay, it can be everything, but he could be a woman. Like it can be anything.
So
between,
between the gay mission and then a lot of people saying they felt like Miles had too much screen time, they felt like the game was going woke. Those was the two main reasons that I saw.
He didn't have no screen time though.
Well, here's you know what it is. I think what they're doing is they're combining that with the result of Across the Spider-Verse, because that shit was a boom. And I think with these people,
still butthurt. I think that makes sense.
I think what's happening is they're having a hard time grasping. The reality is that Miles is this generation Spider-Man, and that's okay. Yep. That's okay. Peter's is last generation. You got the silver, the gold era. Like this is like a new era of comic books, and most people are gonna grow up on Miles, and he just happens to be black. Like it is what it is. Like people got to chill the fuck out, man. Peter's still there.
Taking it too serious.
It's just I don't get it. It's like when I grew up, like my Spider-Man was Tobey. That was because I grew up with the original Spider-Man movies. You know, that whole 3 trilogy that came out. Like that's what it is. And like it's funny you say that too, because I was thinking of it when I was watching Across the Spider-Verse. I was actually thinking about this when okay, everyone here has watched it, right?
Yeah.
Everybody knows it. Okay, fine, spoil it. So the big spoiler, like what the fuck moment is, I think everybody would agree, is like the end of the movie where Miles, he thinks he's back home, but he's actually in an alternate verse, and the person that shows up is a copy of himself, right? And I think everybody's agreed, like in the movie theater, everybody like there was an audible of people going like, what the fuck? Like that was like a big like surprise like moment for everybody, right?
Great, right?
And I said it was like, this is very similar to kind of what you said about Miles, is like this. I felt like at that moment, this must have been how before my time, like 80s kids felt when they saw Star Wars for the first time, and Luke found out that Vader was his father, and everybody was like, oh shit, like holy shit, I feel like it's a similar thing where every generation has these moments where like something, and then they perceive it as like this is their sort of like leader. So like I completely agree. I think Miles is that that pedestal, and I think the game, now that I know, I'm not going to spoil what happens at the end, but you know, like now, like what you're saying, it ties perfectly into like the message of Spider-Man 2, which is like be greater together. And then it ties with all the little strings and stuff that they're basically hinting at for potentially like the third game. You know, these things all start to make perfect sense into why the story ends and the way that it does and the way that it concludes itself. So yeah, why people are butthurt by this shit, I don't understand. I actually cracked up because I was doing a side mission on this game, and you save a paramedic or something like that. He's like, thanks, Spider-Man. I can't wait to tell my boyfriend about this. And I was just like laughing. I was like, oh, watch this. That's gonna piss somebody off. I was like, someone gonna be mad about this. I was like, there's just childish people who do this. These are the same people that got mad when Starfield had them put their pronouns in, and they lost their fucking minds because the game needed to know their pronouns. It's the same type of stupid people. So yeah.
I think what Miles is doing is he's proving how a lot of people they have subconscious prejudice and they don't even realize it. Because what sucks about Miles is like, what's the argument a lot of these type of people make is they'll be like, oh, I don't have a problem with like a person of color in my movies as long as the writing is strong. I just hate when a character's shoehorned in, right? Is the writing not strong in these fucking Miles movies, bro? Like, what are we talking? And then also, he's not a stereotype. Like, he's just a regular black kid from Brooklyn or whatever, and he happens to be black and Hispanic. So it's like, we did what you guys are talking about, and now you're complaining because he's shining. I just think you're racist now. Like
it goes against the agenda. Like the agenda is that if you add in people of color, or you add like women as the lead for shit, that means that the movie's going to be garbage. Like that's the agenda that they constantly try to push within like all the social media. Like that's the whole thing why people are like shit on Disney 24/7 and attack like every single project that has that sort of thing. But then like when things like Black Panther happen, or things like regardless, you think of it like when the first Marvel was it Miss Marvel, when her first movie came out, like how much like they blew up from a sales standpoint, and all of them realized was like, oh my god, wait a minute, you're telling me a black lead actually can make a ton of money? And like I'd argue, and I agree, I think that Spider-Verse is the best Spider-Man movie. Like out of everything that exists, I think it's the best.
I would agree.
I would agree. I went through.
I don't think anything
era.
comes close to it. Yeah, I think it's the best
Toby,
movie.
the Andrew, the Tom
I've seen it
Holland,
all.
and
I think it's the best.
That's the best one.
I think it is the best. I think that Miles, by the end of his trilogy, will be like kind of what you said. I think he will be the best Spider-Man from like a character development standpoint of like becoming who he is and the lessons he learns. I think it's very powerful, and I think outside of obviously like artistically speaking, it is a beautiful movie and one of the most creative things I've ever like saw with my own two eyes. I agree. I think this is this is what Spider-Man's always been about. It's been what you said, like everybody can be Spider-Man. And oh boy, I can't wait until we start getting into, more Spider-Man, like Spider-Women and all the other sort of Spider-Man, because that's just gonna piss off more people. So I'm ready for it.
Across the Spider-Verse already showed it, bro.
Yep,
My daughter got into it. She like wanted to keep watching the movie. I'm like, we gotta watch something else now.
Hey.
But my daughter got into it. She's like loving it. She's like, hey, daddy, what's that? I'm like, that's a spy. That's the bad guy in the movie. Like, she's super interested. She wants to watch it. So like, she's gonna grow up again as seeing Miles as her Spider-Man, and she's gonna see Gwen. She's like, I want to be Ghost Spider. She said she wants to be Ghost Spider next year for Halloween. I'm like, bro, she's like fully into it. She's like, that's her now. Like, that's what she likes.
And that is cool, bro. That is the issue. It's not that the adults like it. I think these people hate that the kids like Miles. Yes.
And they can't keep it away.
They can't stand seeing a little white Timmy be like, I love Miles. What do you mean, buddy?
You don't like Peter?
No,
I like Miles.
Yo's body is Toby.
They got the next generation. We love it. Go. And the funniest thing about the go woke, go broke people, Spider-Man sold like 3 million in the first weekend. Them niggas is not going broke. What are you talking about, bro? You bought the game.
They're gonna get the third game's good. Wolverine's gonna be awesome. Like,
sales were crazy. Yeah.
I do hope that Insomniac, because like we all kind of agreed they didn't push the boundaries enough. I hope they push the boundaries for Wolverine.
What do you feel like they'd have to do? Like, I think we all agree, like Spider-Man 3,
like in what manner?
They push it co-op, but like, what do you feel like they have to do to make?
First of all, Wolverine's a hard character to make a game for because this nigga can heal. He damn near can't die.
Yeah.
For me, I would like to see a Devil May Cry. I would like to see. It's got to be. Well, they already said it's going to be mature. I would like to see a Devil May Cry Bayonetta type of game where like it has a combo system and you can do a bunch of different cool like tricks and shit like that. And then it's gonna have like a great story.
Spider-Man.
More complex combo system and make it more linear. Maybe like semi-open world, kind of like God of War, the 2018 one, Ragnarok.
That's what I was thinking about because I didn't want no open world because I feel like that takes away from the character himself.
I'm not trying to ride no motorcycle with that nigga. No, thank you.
You trying to go through the city with that? Bro.
It'll be Days Gone all over again.
Oh my god! Don't remind me of that game.
Well, I'm interested to see what era they start from since he's been throughout so many different eras.
Yeah, that would be cool.
I don't want old man Logan. I'm gonna be honest.
Obviously, I'm not with.
Maybe if they do a trilogy, maybe end it that way.
Do they so I'm guessing, I don't know this, but because of the suit that's in Spider-Man, is Insomniac saying that like Wolverine will be part of the
They already confirmed that it's the same universe. It's the same universe.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. Just let you know, kid out there. He doesn't show up or anything like that. I'm not
cool. There's a Wolverine suit in the game.
There's a Wolverine cameo or something.
One of the best suits in the game.
Yeah, there's just a suit that is Wolverine.
Y'all didn't say, what do y'all think that they need to do with Wolverine to kind of push the boundaries?
I mean, blood, lots of blood and gore. That's all I
just need
carnage. Just give me some action, give me the claws, and let me just beat up people as Wolverine. I'm gonna be sold regardless. I don't really need too much.
I feel like if they don't have a dismemberment system, I think it's not. People are going to be upset. I feel like it needs like a dismemberment system. I think they got to do something like arms off and stuff. I feel like they got to do.
Was it Metal Gear Revengeance? The dude with the sword, you could like slice people. That shit would be fire.
Yeah, I think they might do something like that. That would be cool because no one's done that type of system. Only Dead Space and Metal Gear Rising's done it, and I think Calypso tried to do it. Did Calypso do it?
That game sucks, nigga.
I know, but did it do it? You played it. I didn't play it. That's what I'm asking you.
We're not
you
giving
don't
that
remember.
Game. No, don't clout that game up. What's the name?
Don't
give it no airtime.
I give it something, bro.
Let's bring it full circle so that because I feel like we said a lot of things. We've actually been talking for almost 45 minutes about Spider-Man alone. To bring it full circle and keep the conversation going, do we all agree at least it's worth at least a Game of the Year nomination? And I know KDot, you said it is your favorite Game of the Year.
100%.
Because I feel like that can get lost in translation. We do like the game. We're just critiquing it.
If I want to hate, I'll say no, but I know it will.
Oh my goodness!
I think if I had to do my personal list, it might get snubbed, but I know that in the overall spectrum,
I want to know what y'all think is. What's your personal list? What game?
Like
do y'all
what's
think
better than it? I think.
Yeah.
Off the top of my head, I still enjoyed Jedi Survivor more than it. I liked Remnant 2 more than that game.
Baldur's Gate.
Liza P is there.
Liza P was great. I didn't like the ending, but it was a great game. I did have fun with it.
Okay.
I think I haven't done it. I haven't played it, but I have a strong feeling Alan Wake is going to be better for me.
The reviews on that have been fire. I saw the game. That game does look really good. That game.
I probably will stream Alan Wake, and I think based on what people have been telling me, it seems like a game I like. That might end up being
Armored Core. Absolutely is going to be.
So Alan Wake, Armored Core, Liza P,
Golem,
Jedi Survivor,
Golem.
I don't know about Golem.
Don't listen to this man.
He lied, bro. He trolling. He trolling. Don't listen. He trolling.
I'm trying to think
because I play everything, but I haven't got to finish any of them.
I would give Super Mario Wonder a nod. Tears of the Kingdom as well.
Do you think Zelda's going to be considered better?
I think most people will show Zelda more love, but Super Mario Wonder deserves to be in the. It is a great game. I know none of y'all played it. I guess I can touch on it like a little bit, but
okay. So if Keeley or whatever it is, if they were going to do the nominations right now, and I'm assuming it's going to be 5 slots, right? Is that what it's going to be?
Right.
Starfield ain't getting one.
I think 6 games.
Starfield not getting it. I don't think
if Starfield gets one, it's politics.
I think it's going to get one for politics because it's like you got that or Hi-Fi Rush. I think I really would like Hi-Fi Rush to get one.
No
but I
way,
feel like
Hi-Fi Rush.
That was a great game that kind of got lost in the shuffle.
It was good, but I think it's just going to get lost.
Do you think Hi-Fi over Sea of Stars? Because they're saying that's going to be in it.
Oh, I forgot about that. I heard that was fire. Yeah.
I haven't played it, but everyeverybody's saying that's a good game as well. They put at least one indie game in there, so they think it's going to be Sea of Stars.
They might put that Sea of Stars in. I'm like writing down in my head.
But this is what we're talking about, KDot. There's a lot of games, bro. It's difficult.
Yeah. Forspoken? Y'all forgot about Forspoken?
Oh, shut up.
Please stop, bro.
They not doing that, man. Spider-Man gonna make it because of Peter. Not
Atomic Heart? That was a heater, like, Atomic Heart?
That game was trash. Stop it. Just tear that game up.
Jedi might get snubbed.
It's gonna get snubbed. That's my personal, but it's gonna get snubbed. It's not gonna win.
I think it's just because technically, from a technical standpoint, it did come out very messy. Like
they fixed it, but it came out messy. Yeah,
I think that might hurt it. If we're talking about, I'm like trying to count right here. I've got some like Sea of Stars, Baldur's Gate 3, Alan Wake 2, Spider-Man 2.
Would you put Wulong in the conversation, JJ?
No, fuck.
I mean, for me personally, but I know it wouldn't be. I wouldn't put in no like.
I did enjoy that game. That was a good game.
Some people are going to argue for the Resident Evil 4 remake.
No.
I really want Armored Core 6. I feel like it's going to get stubbed, but I really feel like it deserved it.
Because at first I was saying, and we've had this conversation multiple times, we were like, man, I don't feel like remake should be in there, but
I don't
Resident Evil 2 remake was in the game of the year 1 year. Final Fantasy 7 remake was in there 1 year as well. So they do it. I don't think they should.
I'm going to say right here, based off of just reviewing and stuff, I have a strong feeling if they do take remake, Resident Evil 4 remake will definitely make it.
You got to take something out, but this is hard. You got to take something else out. You got to take something else out.
Space remake, I think, also was really good. Like, that's a possibility too.
Where does
Redfall?
Where does Redfall fall in the conversation?
The worst game ever.
It falls off.
It falls off of a fucking cliff.
Oh shit, man. Oh, you know what we forgot? It's gonna get snubbed, but in my opinion, it should be nominated. Street Fighter 6. I think that should be nominated. Fighting games are gonna get snubbed.
Nah, I don't think. No fighting game goes in the game of the year.
I didn't even include Zelda on this.
That was a Tears of the Kingdom. This year is
rough. I'm looking at the list right now. Yeah, this is
I feel like that's the fan base picking Zelda, though. The fan base for sure picking Zelda.
Well, a lot of critics like Zelda. A lot of fucking critics like.
I do think there's a Nintendo bias.
I agree. I don't personally see it. It's not my favorite thing. I never really liked Breath of the Wild either that much. Like everyone
I talked about that on the stream the other day. I was like, Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom were cool, but I'm ready for Zelda to go back to a little bit more semi-open world.
I want to go back kind of to it.
Because that open world's too much.
I dropped Tears of the Kingdom because like it's not that it's big. There's nothing in it, bro. It's empty.
Yeah.
It's just it's like camps every 5 miles, and I'm like, this shit's kind of boring to me after a while. I was like,
Any other game you would have said there's a dead open world with like a lot of like blank spaces with nothing in it, but you know.
No, but they liked it though because you can make freaking mechs and all that other type of stuff in there.
That's cool. I think that
was the best part about it. How is that the best part about your game? And that wasn't even the main part of the game.
Making you build your own game. Minecraft, you build your own game.
Yeah,
it is.
It's gonna be crazy. I wrote down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
I tell you this much:
8, 9, 10, 11, 12 games.
The Game Awards is gonna be drama this year. We definitely gonna be streaming that.
For sure.
Last year was drama. Oh, you know this.
The Twitter Spaces for the fanboys, the Xbox and Sony fanboys,
they're gonna lose their minds. If Starfield doesn't get nominated, oh my god, the Xbox Spaces are gonna be a bunch.
Yeah, just imagine if it doesn't get nominated. Forget talking about winning, but if it doesn't get nominated, bro,
it doesn't get nominated.
Shit.
it's 100% never going to win Game of the Year. Never. But if it doesn't get nominated, the cope is going to be insane, bruh. It's going to be
more AI images coming to Spider-Man punching an astronaut in the face, bro.
It's actually a lot of games.
Let's keep the conversation moving. Let's talk about a new first-person shooter that's on the rise right now. It's called The Finals. It's currently in beta until like Monday. I think we're recording this like on Saturday right now. This comes from a new studio, an indie studio that former developers that used to work on Battlefield. They started their own studio, and this game is being published by Nexon. This game's been getting a lot of hype because it's an objective-based first-person shooter where basically you can destroy almost anything in the game, so it creates a lot of tension. The objective-based stuff is honestly, this game kind of reminds me a little bit of what's the Battlefield everybody hated, Ethos, the one with the money, Hardline.
Hardline.
It reminds me a little bit of Hardline with like more destruction. A lot of people seem to either really love or hate this game. How you feeling about The Finals, Jay?
I mean, I'm going to give you the same opinion that I gave you the last time that we talked about it. 'Cause we played the last beta. It's not for me. It's not for me. I thought it would be because I am more of a fan of the objective type of shooters here, and I was a fan of the destruction because again it's Battlefield, and we love the levolution and all the destructibility. So I do like that aspect. But this final beta, and this particular one, the hackers went crazy, bro. I don't know if y'all peeped. But the hackers have been doing some crazy stuff, and I'm like, bro, I really hate when y'all do this stuff. Period. But when y'all do this stuff,
wait, what are you? I haven't seen. What are you saying?
Constantly aim.
Oh no, they've been using the aim hacks. They've been using aim hacks in the final. Yeah. So I don't know if you played this time because I skipped it. I was like,
I've been playing. I played it last night. I've been playing. Me and Siggy been on it.
Okay, but yeah, the hackers have been going crazy. So if y'all didn't see any, congratulations. But they were already doing the aimbot hacks in this beta. So I mean, if y'all like it, cool. But I decided not to give it another chance. I may try it again once the game fully comes out just to see if things have been improved. But I just didn't like it. Like I just felt like it was a lot of fluff. Like the culture destructibility was there, but I didn't feel the sense of like I'm having fun in this game. Like I didn't feel like the shooting was on point enough for me to be like, hey, I'm going to use this as a contender over, again, Call of Duty. But I mean, it's not hard to be Call of Duty, but still, I haven't found that FPS that has successfully taken me away from Call of Duty. Because I mean, well, Etho could talk about Battlefield, because I don't know how Battlefield 2042 is now, but that was supposed to be like our game that was going to take us away. And I don't feel like
Isn't
any
player
other
counts
FPS
up on that game?
filled that void. Huh?
Yes.
I read player
Yeah,
counts are up on the game. Apparently, it's having a renaissance. My 4 out of 5 is looking pretty good right now.
Oh man! So yeah,
shit.
so that's my opinion. It's not for me yet, but I'll give it another chance when the game fully comes out.
For sure. How you feeling about it? Did you get a chance to play KDot?
I have not got a chance to play it. I'm not into FPSs like that. It didn't really give me any type of it didn't give me a want to play it at all. Like
you're a good person,
Apex.
trust me.
I'd rather watch Call of Duty or
It's
something.
stressful.
Yeah,
It didn't look too fun to me at all. So yeah, I skipped that on that one.
I respect it. What about you, Ethos?
I hated it. Absolutely hated it. I've not
I'm good.
I
I'm
logged
good,
you
then.
Chaos as my witness. We booted up that new beta. We got mad as hell for the first 30 minutes. We couldn't get into a match because we couldn't invite each other because they didn't turn crossplay on by default. And if you don't have that, you can't see each other. So I couldn't find each other on our friends list, so we couldn't invite each other. So we spent 30 minutes trying to troubleshoot that.
That is really weird. Why put crossplay in your game and then by default turn it off? That is really weird.
So we were trying to figure out, like, it was like me, Apex, Chaos, but I could only see Chaos. Chaos could only see Apex, but we couldn't invite each other. So it was an endless loop of us not seeing the third person of each other's friends list. So we were already getting pissed off by that. And then by the time we figured it out and we got connected, we went into the game. I still don't like the TTK. I feel like it takes too long to kill the big dudes. They're still too chunky in the health department. They one-shot you. I play like medium and small class people. So when I play them, they have lower health pool. So I just die to everything in like 1 or 2 bullets. But the big guys just run at you with a sledgehammer and one-shot you. I don't like that. The hackers are another thing. I ran into one game where there was hackers, but everyone else has been pretty good. And other than that, like, I agree with JG. It's just not I don't know why it's not my thing, because it has everything I like. It has the dice formula. It's got dice devs. It feels like a Battlefield game. It has the destruction of a Battlefield game. I thought I should like it. I just think it's the format of it being like this sort of like extraction game show, jump to these objectives, and you're fighting like 3 teams of 3. I think that's what I can't get jiggy with. So unfortunately for me, it's definitely not I uninstalled it after one match. I couldn't get it. I just couldn't do it.
I've been trying to figure out, do I enjoy this game because there's no new shooter on the market, or do I genuinely enjoy the game? Like, me and Siggy have been playing it. I played it last night for a couple hours with some other people too, and like we've been winning. There's definitely like a meta to it, but I do agree that TTK is way too long. Like, there's some bullshit where like. And so like there's definitely a meta where like you have to have on your team a heavy that's running a flamethrower, because a lot of the maps where the objectives are, it's a very tight corridor, so that flamethrower just bodies everybody. I picked up the flamethrower, and like even that's bullshit. It only works when you let your team aggro and then you come out to cut and flame everybody down. But if you 1v1 somebody, you'll just trade kills. And I'm like, bro, this dude's like burning. Like, it doesn't make any, the time to kill doesn't make any sense to me. It takes entirely too long. I feel like if they clean that up, they might have something here. But more importantly, I think the one major red flag for me that nobody's really talking about is this game is published by Nexon. This is the second beta, and it already has a full-blown store inside of it. So you can kind of tell where their priorities are. It's like, I'm more worried about, are they focused on making a good game or just making a shit ton of money? Because Nexon is notorious for that. But mechanically, it's fun. Like, the shooting feels good. It's just that time to kill takes too long. And I really wish they would listen to the community on that, as well as like they gonna have to put some type of anti-cheat in there. I didn't know there were cheaters in there. Wait, how were y'all able to tell? Or you just like read an article about this?
I saw videos.
The way I was dying.
okay.
Yeah, also on Twitter, I saw videos.
I saw videos. I saw it.
I was like, nope. I'm glad I ain't even tried.
That's fucking funny. That's fucking funny. Yeah, I think the beta ends like in a couple days. I mean, if y'all want to download it, check it out. It's free. It's gonna be free to play totally. So it's like, it doesn't hurt to try it if you don't have nothing else. Yeah, it doesn't hurt to try, but ultimately, I would want Titanfall 3. I don't know what's going on with that. So yeah, that's just some thoughts on the finals. Next topic. This is, I know your specialty, KDot. Since the last podcast, a free-to-play VR game came out, a My Hero Academia. What is it called? Battle Royale or Battle Rumble or some shit like that?
Oh, My Hero Ultra Rumble. That's what it's called. My Hero Ultra Rumble.
I only played the beta. I saw you streaming, and I sat in your stream, and I saw that you really liked it. So that's why I put it on the I put it on the show notes, because I was like, I wanted to hear like what's your take on this this Battle Royale in an era where a lot of people are feeling kind of burnt out on Battle Royale games. How you feeling about the game?
I think it's a fresh take to Battle Royales. It's not shooting. You don't have to do any extraction. It's not really any objective. It's nothing but My Hero anime. You get to fight. You get to play as your favorite, heroes, villains, whatever, and just go have fun with it. But I think a lot of people had issues with the fact that it has a gacha system, and people don't understand the gacha system, because it's like 3 different ways to get heroes. The first way is obviously the gacha system. You actually have to roll, but you don't have to spend any money. You just have to play the game. The second way is to actually, it's hidden behind XP. So it's 6 characters hidden behind XP. So you have to play the game to get those characters. And then the other ones are just, you can use hero tickets, unlock them, and then have fun and play with them. But I think that's the huge issue, is the fact that people don't know how to get the characters. Other than that, the game is fun. It's really simple. You drop down. It's only 24 characters. I think it's like 24 people, 8 teams, and you just battle it out to finish. It's just like a regular Battle Royale. I think it is fun. I think the combat is dope. I think them dropping so many different characters is the potential to drop so many characters is actually crazy, because it's My Hero. We on season 5. The manga going stupid. We have too many different heroes, villains, anti-villains, whatever you want to call them, that can actually join this game. I think the way to keep this game going is to drop those characters pretty fast. Unlike Breakers that took like probably 2 to 3 months to drop a new character, a new raider, they actually dropped just Aizawa last week, so that had a fluctuation in player base. I think that helped out. But overall, the game is fun. It's free to play. Everybody should try it out. If you're tired of shooting people, you're tired of Apex, you're tired of Warzone, try something new. Have fun with it. I didn't see any cheaters on this one, so we're pretty good on that. Overall, it's a solid game. It's a solid game. I just think people, mainly the anime community, doesn't really like change. So when it comes to something, they quick to shit on it. It's not, it's not a, what's it called, arena fighter. It's not the Storms, it's not the Fighters. It's not something traditional. It's actually brand new. And they don't like new things, bro. I don't know why. It's weird to me, but this was fun. It was a fun game.
Yeah, I played the beta for like a few hours. And I feel like it's not a bad game, but I didn't particularly like it either. It's kind of like one of those games where I'm coming just like, like it exists. And if you like it, I'm not like mad at it. I think for me, like it was just a little bit too simple. And I think where they kind of dropped the ball, where they could have added a little bit more depth to keep me intrigued, is like in My Hero in the anime, like teamwork is like a big thing, and like it would have been cool to have like some type of combo system to where like you remember like in what was it Marvel? What was the Marvel superhero team up game from like the 360 era? Where you could play as all the different characters. Like it was like X-Men's Legends. Marvel Alliance. Yeah. It would have been cool if like different heroes' abilities played off of each other and they had like a combo system, kind of like an Anthem. So you could do more damage. Because like that's a big element of the show.
Though.
Really?
I think it is. It just depends on what characters you playing. So let's say you do play Eraser here. You play Dinky, he's electric dude, and you play probably somebody like Shigaraki. Like if you do an AoE attack, you lock people around, you box them up with Dinky, and then you do erase their quirk or tie them up. Eraser here, initially you just did a team attack. But I think the only way to do a team attack is if you can actually communicate with people, and that's another issue. Because you can talk to people through the microphone, but is somebody that's going to listen to you? Somebody that's going to hear you?
That might have been the issue. I couldn't find anybody to run with. I was running with randoms, and everybody was just doing whatever, and I'm just kind of like, I don't know. But so basically, you have to run with a team on this game then.
Yeah, so it's communication. I think communication is the biggest point in this game. Just like in any battle royale, once you can communicate, you tell people what you're trying to do, what you want to run, how y'all want to like combine. Because if you let's say you run 3 strike characters, which is basically the attack characters, y'all all get boosts in attack. So let's just say you want to go run down the lobby, you can do that. It's really just communication and trying to plot and plan on what you want to do for the gameplay. Just like any Apex, you pick the legends that work best for your routine or however you're trying to play.
You still playing the game?
Oh, My Hero? Yeah, I still play it. If it's an anime game, I'm still going to play it at the end of the day, yeah. Actively streaming it? Nah, not right now. Nah, I'm trying to beat Spider-Man.
Okay.
I think you should give another chance, though. Okay. You're going
to have to show me the ropes on that game one day then.
Oh, I carry you, bro. You're going to have fun when you win it. No cap.
Scary.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
JG wanted me to put this on the show notes. So I'll talk about it briefly because he just wanted to hear about what I got to say. But
you gotta continue feeding your Zelda and Mario agenda.
Oh shit! Since the last podcast, Super Mario Wonder came out, and I'm not gonna lie, I had zero interest in this, which is crazy because I am a Nintendo kid. I grew up a Nintendo kid, and the reason I had no interest in this is because it looked exactly like Super Mario Wii U and New Super Mario, like another just kind of like generic thing when they announced it during the direct, and then the reviews came out and it was nothing but 9s and 10s, and I'm like, all right, bro, is this another game where they have like the Nintendo bias going on? Or is this game actually good? I was like, I need to get down to the bottom of this. So me, Siggy, and Ace bought the game, and Ace says like, yo, let's run. He never shows up, so me and Siggy just played. And it turns out this game is actually good. So like what intrigued me is like in the reviews, people were saying this is the next, if not it's better than Super Mario World, which for those of you unaware, that's the one that introduced Yoshi. That's considered a classic by a lot of people. I'm like, get the fuck out of here when I hear that shit. So I picked the game up and I'm actually genuinely surprised. Like it's one of those games you have to play. What makes it great is it's just classic Nintendo. It's super silly level design. There's lots of like there's multiple objectives in like each level. And like, so like the main objective is you want to get these blue flowers, which are kind of like the stars or whatever. And then once you get those, it'll unlock a new aspect of the level and it turns it into like a whole acid trip. And then you got to go collect a star into that. But then there's like hidden secrets in there. Like maybe you got to water a plant. That'll unlock a new part of the level. Or there's only a certain pipe out of the thousands on the screen that takes you to a new part of the level. I think this is one of those games that's kind of like old fashioned discovering the fun. You're not going to be able to just run through it and get like the full experience. And the platforming is challenging. There's a new perk system in the game where you unlock new perks as you go into the game. And based off what perk that you have, like one will have the ability to like, your cap will allow you to like float after you jump, or there's another one that makes you swim faster. There's ones that give you like better wall jumps, and based off the perk you have equipped, you can only access certain parts of the level. So you got to make sure that you know what you're doing when you go into the level. And that's what makes the co-op fun, because then you can communicate. It has 4-player co-op. You can communicate what needs to be done.
And that's online. It ain't local.
It's local and online.
Oh, that okay. I might be sold just off of that fact.
Yeah, this is one of those games where like it's really simple fun, but this has some of the best level design of the year. It's one of those things you got to kind of experience it for yourself. No two levels are exactly the same, and it's just like, damn, this is that Nintendo magic. And on top of that, the co-op. This is one of those games I think is great if you want to play with like your little niece and nephew, or you want to play with like, I know A said he's been playing with his wife. This is like one of those just really fun games that I think can help people get into gaming, but it's challenging enough for like seasoned gamers because like there are levels that every level has like a star rating, and the ones that are like 5-star rating, them bitches is hard. Me and Siggy was like struggling on that shit. Oh, there's new powers too, like the elephant joint. Like only the elephant.
Was stupid as hell in the trailer, bro.
Yeah.
I thought that was stupid.
The elephant's got like super strength, so only he can move certain objects in the level, which unlocks like certain things. So it's almost like, is this the Elden Ring, Mario Elden Ring? There's like certain secrets like in the game. It was just fun to discover this stuff. This isn't like Spider-Man. Don't expect some fucking super deep, high Oscar bait type of cinematic game. It's simple, fun, jumping around with amazing level design. And if that sounds like your cup of tea, go for it. I think it is a really good game. Is it my game of the year like some of the people say? I do think that's Nintendo bias. No, but it is a really good game. I would say it's like an 8.5, like a 9 based off of what I played. And the Switch is dry. So if you need something to play, go for it. But yeah, that's my 2 cents on that joint. Let's talk about Five Nights at Freddy. That is a horror series. There's like a million different games, a million different books. It's got a super fanatical fan base on YouTube. I was streaming last week and somebody in the chat was like, hey, TBH, you gonna go see the Five Nights at Freddy movie? I said, Five Nights at Freddy? They got a movie coming? Apparently this bitch was announced like 3 years ago. I had no idea. He was like, yeah, it was announced years ago. You didn't know? I was like, nah, I don't really keep up with that community. And apparently it came out the next day that I had that stream. So I was like, whatever, bro. For shits and giggles, because it was streamed. You can watch it in theaters or you can watch it on Peacock if you had, or you can watch it illegally. But what's the name? I'm not gonna tell you I watched it. I watched it legally, but what's the name? There's ways to watch it. I was like, you know what? This weekend I'm gonna check it out for shits and giggles because I'm not like a Five Nights at Freddy's fan, but I am a fan of the culture, like supporting it. I think if we want to see more of our medium on the silver screen, we have to support it when it comes there. So I was like, all right, let me see what it's about. And I saw it, and that movie fucking sucks. Before I get into it,
she was trash.
I'm gonna let you see.
No, that movie.
Okay, you got the floor. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
I don't even like scary movies, but I went to go watch the movie because it was Halloween weekend. I'm like, let me watch something remotely scary, and let me just see what Five Nights at Freddy is about because I've never played the game. I've never watched anybody play the game. I just see some scary jump scares and memes every now and again. Mind you, I went to the theater and I think the weekend that it came out, I went in there. It was 6 people in that theater, 6. So that should tell you something about the movie in itself anyway.
Hold on. To be fair, you live in Ohio. Nobody lives there. Second,
I live in Cincinnati. Stop playing with me. I live in one of the best cities in Ohio.
Y'all don't have an airport. Second. The second,
we do got an airport, bro.
The movie
You'll never win. Just accept it.
The movie did make 130 million the opening weekend. So nobody went to your theater, but it did really fucking good.
All right. Okay, a trash movie was good. Oh, anyway, the murder scenes was trash. And you supposed to be scared of these damn things, and you wasn't scared. Really didn't. They didn't embrace the scariness to me because the robots, the whatever the fuck they call, wasn't really that scary to me at all.
The animatronics.
And the animatronics, thank you. When you were supposed to be scared of them actually killing things, they were hitting for real. So I guess they was hitting behind the rating, I guess. I think the scariest thing I actually seen was seeing a shorty get 8. She got bit, but that was it. It was nothing really jumping out of me that was screaming Halloween, screaming scary. It was really for the fanatics, for the fans of Five Nights at Freddy. So if you like the game, you like the theories, you will like it. But as somebody who knows nothing about Five Nights at Freddy, it didn't give me enough to go want to play the game. It didn't give me enough to understand what was going on. I just know it's some kids, some ghosts killing, and at a pizzeria. That's really what I got from the movie. That was it.
This movie has a lot of issues. Like, it's not the worst thing I've ever seen. I'll say that because, like, I've seen some people try to push that agenda.
No, I agree.
It's like a 5 out of 10. Like, one thing I'll give it is, like, I was surprised the cinematography is pretty decent. Like, they had some decent camera work. Like, the movie looks good. I would say it's like a high-end, like, fan YouTube project. It was good enough. And then I'll say, like, it felt like the actors took the job seriously, but that doesn't change the fact that they didn't do good. So I think the first issue with this movie is it just shows that this movie benefits more being a game than a movie, because like a lot of once they took out the interactive part, the gameplay, right? Mm-hmm. And once you take out the interaction, then you have nothing but the story. And the problem is the story's not that great. So like in the game, you're like moving the cameras around and then you never know when something's going to like jump at you. So that's kind of like the thrill of it. They took that out. And instead what you got is a bunch of people on screen that are like super bored. And then the pacing on the movie is horrible.
Terrible, bro.
The movie's an hour and 50 minutes long. It felt like it was 2.5 hours. Like it felt longer than what it actually was. And it's because it takes until like halfway through the movie before the main character gets into the bootleg Chuck E. Cheese. So like the first half of the movie, this nigga's just like, oh, my life is hard. I can't hold a job. Yeah. My sister hates me. I'm like, when are they going to get to the fucking pizzeria, bruh? We get to the pizzeria. None of that shit was scary, bruh. It was just like, it was just like Chuck E. Cheese, little animatronics and shit. It was all predictable scare jumps. It wasn't scary. Some people said it was held back by the PG-13 rating, but then I don't know, because like I enjoyed Megan and that was rated PG-13. Like I feel like they just weren't creative with the horror. This is one of those movies. It feels like one giant inside joke for Five Nights at Freddy's fans. Yep. And that's okay. If you're a Five Nights at Freddy's fan, the problem is this is a movie that's supposed to appeal to a wider audience. And I think that's the part that the fan base doesn't understand. This is a movie, not the game. And they made the movie because they wanted to appeal to a wider audience. Well, what happens when you remove the gameplay and you only have this shitty ass story? Well, there's nothing for the everyday person to appreciate. Like if the acting was good, I could be like, yo, they really killed the role. I don't fully understand the lore. Like it gives them something to hold on. And I just feel like it wasn't anything good enough. Yeah. And then some of the writing is bad. Like I talked about it in my review, like the scene with Matt Pat from Game Theory that shows up in the movie. So there's a scene in the movie where Matt Pat shows up and he's working as a server at a diner. And the people that were sitting at the diner, the characters, they were plotting against the main character. They said something, and then Matt Pat says, "That's just a theory." And I'm like, "All right, nigga, get the fuck out of here." But he says his YouTube catchphrase, and I'm like, did a fourth grader write this fucking script, bro? Like, get this man something to say. Same thing with like, it was cool to see Corey Kenshin in the movie, but if you watch the trailer,
it was nothing.
If you watch the trailer, Ethos and JG, they hype it up. Yo, Corey Kenshin's in the movie. I
saw it. Yeah,
this nigga, what you saw in the trailer is what he's in the movie. It's 5 seconds. It's it. Yeah.
Bro, wow. So he's just the Uber driver? That's it?
Yeah,
that's
he's a taxi driver.
You see him at the end in the credit scene, but that's it. Like, it's literally nothing.
Wow.
Yeah. So this is one of those things.
Big ass thing hop in the car and it's just like.
So do you feel like it got a bunch of people watching it just because they had these like cameos of like Corey and the rest of them?
That's why I went. I went to go see Corey. No cap. I went to go see Corey, try to support, and like TBA said, we do want to. If you want to see more gaming movies, you got to support it. So that's another reason why I want to go check it out. But of course, I'm trying to see my fellow black man on the movie, see what he do. This man is a taxi cab driver and literally says probably maximum of 6 words.
He said, "Man, y'all crazy." I was like, "All right, bro." Like,
that's it. Wow.
Oh my god.
Jesus Christ.
But like if you go read the comment sections on any videos, we're like, because like most of the YouTube videos reviews you'll find, people will be like, "This was not a good movie." The whole comment section is just the fan base defending this shit to the fucking moon, and I'm like, "Yo, y'all got it. I get you guys love it, but this is not a good movie. You love the games, but this is not a good movie." And when the hype dies down, I think people will start to see that like, oh, we could have did better, and hopefully they do, because there's gonna be more movies, because this shit made over. They made 100 million. They're gonna make more because the budget was 20 million for this movie, and they made 130 million back. Oh yeah, they're making more.
Yeah,
that's crazy. Yeah, I saw the producer. He tweeted out, he was like, "I want to thank the fans," because he had a picture of the Metacritic, and it was like the critics slammed it. Like it was like 33%. So it was a terrible. It was consistent. The consensus was it wasn't that good. But it looked like the audience score was more like I think it was like 70. So it was positive. So yeah, it's probably like one of those things again. It's probably that like thing where it's like critics panned this thing and thought it was bad, but then the audience of like probably what you're saying, like the fan base itself likes it a lot. I get it. Like,
I think the reason the fan base defends it so hard is one thing I'll give the movie as a positive is it respects the source material and like the lore. It's just like it forgot to be a good movie, if that makes sense. It was trying so hard to be respectful to the source material. It's like I think this actually has the potential to be a big horror movie series, and horror movies are huge. It's just like they're gonna have to push the boundaries a little bit and understand this is not the game. It's something to work on. It's actually a positive if you take that criticism and they can flip it and they can make it even more than 100 million. Like I do think it has potential.
What do you think is better though? Like, do you feel like if a studio makes a movie based off of, let's say your favorite, okay, let's say like a Mass Effect movie, right? But let's say it's like it's written really well, but let's say it disrespects the source material, right? Would you say for you that you wouldn't end up liking that movie, even if the writing?
No, if the writing was still good, I'd still like it. If they disrespect it, like
even if they
I would knock points for disrespecting it, but like if a good story is a good story, in my opinion.
So you'd still be like, all right, still.
Yeah, I would still rock with it. Okay. I think they can do both. I talked about it in my video. I was like, an example is the recent Mario and Sonic movies. I think both of those movies were respectful to the source material, but it still brought something new, and also the performances were good as well. As I was saying, the performances from the actors in this are not good, and the story is just kind of meh. So it's like, it's something to work with if they take the feedback.
I mean, I wasn't attached to any character in there at all.
Yeah,
like,
I felt like if y'all who don't even play Five Nights at Freddy's, if y'all thought it was, pretty bad and the critics thought it was bad, the audience, like, I understand again why they went to go see it and why they're painting it as good, but an audience can again give disingenuous opinions about things. Like,
they have agendas too.
Yeah, they can either completely shit on something or they can completely hype it up. And again, I feel like that's disingenuous if you want the producer and the people who made Five Nights at Freddy's to make a better movie if they're going to continue, making sequels. So I hope that this doesn't end up, becoming, whenever they make the next one, even worse than this one. I hope that they do take whatever the critics said, and not just what the fans thought to heart, whenever they continue making it. But I mean, shout out to them for making the money, because again, if the fans showed out, I mean, that's ultimately what you want, right? So yeah, at the end of the day, fuck whatever the critics said. If you made that money back, so
man, the numbers don't. What? It is what it is, bruh. So yeah, I mean,
I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch it though, just to see, because it's on Peacock, so I'm gonna check it out.
Yeah, stream it on Peacock, or you can go watch it in the movie theater. It's up to y'all. Just letting you know, if you're there to support Corey Kenshin, you're gonna be very disappointed. Because I do feel like a lot of people saw the movie, and you actually proved my point. I'm glad you said that without even me having to bring it out. I was like, I think a lot of people just went to go see and support Corey because motherfuckers love Corey, and I was like, this nigga was in there for 30 seconds, bro. I was like, Jesus, man. They played the audience on that.
He was at the credits. If you stayed to the end,
yeah,
I guess.
But yeah, that's Five Nights at Freddy. Check it out at your own will. Let's move on to the news section of the podcast. Since the last one, there was a preview event for Ubisoft's upcoming Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora. This is the first new IP they put out in a while. It is a first-person action-adventure game that takes place in the Avatar universe. You get to control one of the Na'vi. They showed off some of the parkour, the gunplay, some of the gameplay loop. A lot of preview videos came out, so I wanted to see, I think this one comes out in December. This is one of the last major games to come out this year. Does anybody have any interest in this? Was it speaking to you? What do you think, KDot?
I'm not sold. Just one, because it's Ubisoft. Just playing a lot of Assassin's Creed game growing up, the NPCs always kind of ruined the game, or it's always some type of glitches or something weird going on. And with it being first person in an open world, I'm really not rocking with that. I feel like it needs to be third person, especially seeing some of the parkour, because it looks like it want to be fun, but it looks like it's going to be weird, and it's going to be hard to kind of get around and really explore the whole area. And then on top of the combat, I'm not sold at all, bro. I think it's going to be more, it's supposed to be like a hunter-gatherer experience, but I think it's going to be more gathering and exploring the world and being a part of the Na'vi and really seeing how the movie should have been in the game mode, versus it actually being action-packed and you really going to fight the humans, defend the area. It doesn't really call out to an adventure game. It calls out to really some Stardew Valley type of shit where you just going around having some fun, looking around, for real. To me.
Freaking the first time I seen gameplay for this game, I said this shit looked like Far Cry with blue people, and I watched about 5 or 6 videos of people previewing it, and they all said it's Far Cry with blue people. I said, I know what the fuck fuck this game, bro. I don't know what's going on over there. You've
been in the game for a decade.
They've been making the same game for a decade, bro. This
and they're trying to sell it, reskinning it. Reskinning it is not going to help at all.
I'm like, yo. Go ahead.
I'm watching the IGN video. I was watching it while you were explaining it, and I had it on 1.5, and I literally just heard him say the human AI are fucking brain dead. And I was just
you see it in the gameplay. You see it in the game?
Yeah.
Must have been the win.
Typical.
Yeah. Must have been the win. You got any opinions on this, Jay?
Man, every time I look at a preview, it just looks worse and worse. Like I don't want to play it, and I know I'm going to get the opportunity. That's a bad thing, man. Shout out to Ubisoft, man, because they still like, regardless of what criticism, they still mess with us. So I appreciate them for that.
They need sales. That's why.
I know they do, and it's like, man, I might play it just because I'll get it for free, and like I do want to talk about it. Like a lot of the time, I do play games just to talk about it on the pod. But man, oh man, I got a feeling it's going to be a hard playthrough, bro. I
want to guess right now. What's the score?
6.
I was about to say 6.57.
Man, it might get a 4, bro. If it gets a 6, it's just gonna be because of Avatar fans.
It's the movie. I feel like if you're a really fan of the Avatar series, you're gonna love this game. But objectively, from a gaming standpoint, it's gonna be trash, bro. It's nothing like, oh my god, I must buy this game. That's really gonna make people go and copy it at all.
Yep. Shout out to Ubisoft creators. Thank you for the key ahead of time.
Yes, thank you.
Big shouts out to y'all for blessing your boy.
Hey, they denied me. They didn't let me in. I don't know, man.
Yeah, so you're not as famous as us. I'm sorry.
It's okay. I can't play this. I can't play this game anyway. Ethos. My girl is Native American. She said fuck this shit. So.
Oh shit.
Did you say you gonna boycott that shit?
No, dead ass. That's the reason I didn't see Avatar 2. She was like, fuck that shit. I do not fuck with that. I was like, I'm United Front. United Front.
Man. Now I've been an argument in anybody else's relationship. I'm going to see that movie.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Well, I didn't want to see it that bad anyway. United Front, baby. Bro. I was like, I respect that. So yeah, that's coming out later in the year. That's just keep your eye on that if y'all excited. I'm curious to see what y'all say when that full game comes out. Some other news since the last podcast. This is a big one. Bungie's had some major layoffs. There's been a lot of drama going out there. So for those unaware, Bungie, the creators of Halo, but more famously recently known for the Destiny series, and then they also have another shooter called Marathon on the way. They recently laid off 100+ people, and then some articles came out about how they were kind of blindsided about that, as well as Marathon, their new upcoming shooter. That's been in really bad shape. And also reports are coming out that apparently if Sony did not buy Bungie, they were on the verge of collapse. I don't know how true that is, but this is crazy. They were saying when it comes to Marathon, where's that tweet at? I think it was from Okami. So Marathon, the new PlayStation. Let me bring this up on the thing. Marathon, the new PlayStation game from Bungie, is reportedly in a rough shape. Comes from Aztec Cross, a notable Destiny 2 YouTuber, as well as a short sentence from Paul Tassi. Marathon was originally a battle royale, but it switched to an extraction shooter. Earlier this year, a bunch of Escape from Tarkov streamers were brought into Bungie to examine Marathon and play it. Bungie asked their streamers if they would play Marathon if it came out the next day, and nobody raised their hand. And then on top of that, apparently the studio is on the verge of collapse. Oh, I forgot to say this too. There's a boycott going on because of the layoffs. I think like a lot of the Destiny community, because the game has been in an ass shape and they've been treating their employees badly. A lot of people are boycotting the new DLC. You're a game developer, Ethos. What the fuck is going on with Bungie, man?
Shit's not looking good, man. I'm just kind of shocked because this is not gonna lie, this is not what I was expecting going on with Bungie. Because if you recall, remember Bungie was already in a trouble back in 2019 for employee abuse allegations about them abusing their employees. They had an issue with that, and their CEO at the time had to make a statement. I think it was like 2018, 2019, and say that, hey, we got to do better than this. We will do better. We'll treat our, less crunch, try to do better. And a lot of things were coming out about the development of Destiny 2, about how like the engine was really hard to develop in, and it was causing a lot of headaches, and that was why certain content and stuff for the game was taking a while, and why Destiny 2 launched in how it got shat on at launch and stuff like that. Like all these things, like everything started to make sense about like the timeline Destiny 2 and everything. Now you have all this stuff. It's also mind-blowing too, because I remember when the announcement came out that Sony was going to buy Bungie and let them keep their independence. And I remember me and Siggy we both were analyzing it, and we both came to the conclusion saying that we felt that Sony had over-evaluated Bungie, that Bungie wasn't worth that amount of money. Ooh. It was like the value that Bungie brought to to the Sony PlayStation Studios was not worth the $7 billion that they paid for it, compared to like what we thought was like way lower of a valuation from everything we saw.
It makes sense. Marathon, from what I read, Marathon ain't coming out until 25, 26 because it got delayed. So all they had was Destiny 2 was already out. All they had was DLC. So
all they have is Destiny 2.
At least, whether you like the game or not, we knew when Microsoft bought Bethesda, we knew Starfield was on the way. Like, what did they buy Bungie for?
And so the business reason why Sony was desperate on it, and this is something that I've said before, is like it's been the secretly quiet sort of blind spot of Sony that I think a lot of gamers don't agree with, but it's just unfortunately just business. Sony unfortunately has a very bad blind spot that they don't have a diverse multiplayer suite of offerings on their platform. Xbox, because they got their hands on Bethesda, because they got their hands on that, they have access to it, and now they have Activision. They own, I would say pretty much, they decimate the multiplayer space when it comes to like big game multiplayer games, single multiplayer shooting games. Most people, now that they have Overwatch, now that they have Call of Duty, now that they have and now they also have Bethesda, so now they have like all those IPs as well. They have Doom now. Like the big thing has been Sony doesn't really have their own. They used to, remember Resistance and stuff when they used to have Killzone. They don't have any sort of like FPS lead thing in their repertoire, and they don't have any multiplayer games as a service game that gives Sony more money. They don't have that. The thing that Sony's very good at is revenue. Yeah, they have the single player, really good one shot, like big explosive franchise. Last of Us, God of War. They've nailed that aspect. But the multiplayer area they've been lacking in for the last couple of I say since PS4 era. They haven't really been.
I never thought about that, but I feel like you are right. They really don't have like an exclusive like multiplayer game.
They don't.
It used to be on the PS3 with what was the Resistance, I think, or some shit like that.
Yeah, they had Killzone, they had Resistance, but think about like what FPS do they have in their franchise now? Like what do they have?
This is why they were crying about Call of Duty. This is exactly why they were
crying about. This is why they were terrified about
losing
Call of Duty. Was not the idea that like it would leave their platforms, because they already knew from internally, they knew Call of Duty wasn't going to leave their platform. Like Phil was very straightforward, say, hey, I'll let you guys keep it because you need that. That was giving you a lot of revenue. A lot of revenue was coming through PlayStation. I think it was like 45% of, I think, the sales from Call of Duty were like giving that. And then PlayStation was also, they made a private deal with Activision to give Activision even more of a cut of each sale of Call of Duty. So like, that's why it was selling a lot more on PlayStation. So like all these things start to make sense. And so now you have all these like, now Warzone is under Microsoft's banner. Now, Microsoft was also making deals with Battlefield, with Apex, like to get deals with the Game Pass. So all these things were happening. And Sony was like, oh God, like we're losing the games as a service space. Like we don't have any sort of shooter, and they never did. So the idea was long story short, we buy Bungie. And with Bungie's expertise, because you could argue and say they made the most successful games as a service, which is Destiny. It's a game that came out in 2013, and it's been going for
everybody's trying to copy Destiny.
And remember when Destiny came out, everybody tried to copy. BioWare, EA tried with BioWare, failed. Multiple, I can't even remember. I think every publisher has tried to make a Destiny clone, and they failed. No one has been able to successfully make that formula. So they said, all right, well, if we can't make it, we'll just buy the people that know how to do it. So that's why they were like, we'll pay extra because we want your expertise. Funny enough, and this also pisses me off, them buying Bungie turned them into consultants to consult PlayStation Studios on how to make good multiplayer games. And the one that, you, me, JJ, the one that I constantly say I loved back in the day was Last of Us Factions. And Bungie did a consulting for it and said it was ass. So that got put on the ice burner. So now that's a problem too. So the other game that they were going to turn, I think they were going to turn Last of Us 2 Factions, the multiplayer portion of it, they were going to turn into a free-to-play game. It was going to be its own separate type of game of its own thing. That's now in development, whatever we call it, ice now. We don't even know. They lost, Naughty Dog laid off people too, and now we have Bungie doing this. So it's bad. It's really bad. And the worst part is, and I talked to Khalif about this, is does boycotting it make sense? Because the problem is, the reason why all this is happening is because Bungie overshot their earnings by 45%. Now, TBH, if I told you, if you were working for me, if I was working for you, right, and I said, yeah, we're going to have our revenues going to be, X amount of dollars. And then halfway through the year, I'm telling you, yeah, we've missed our goal by almost 50%. of the revenue we thought we were going to make. You're going to look at me like you've lost, like what the hell do you mean? You're that far behind.
That's a straight up lie because it's not like a 5 or 10% off. Like
maybe different. It was like 20 maybe percent. If it's 20, okay, a little bit there, but 45, that's a big mismanagement number. That's really
niggas are just lying. Like remember when like E3 we would go to when we was in line for Activision and we was trying to talk to the vice president and we told him our website got like 5 million views a month. Niggas are just lying. That wasn't true. Hey, but we still got the interview though.
Oh, we got in there.
No, that's real shit. No, that's real shit.
Allegedly.
Man. Hey, it's been like 10 years, nigga. Whatever. But yeah, that does make sense. Any takes on the Bungie situation, JG?
I mean, it's crazy because a lot of people are like, dang, Bungie? Like, Bungie has been regarded for a long time. Yeah, exactly. But, I mean, I think we have to, again, realize that, Halo was a Microsoft entity. Like, you all made it, but it was their IP. That's why you let it go. You're like, forget it. Like, we're going to do our own thing. But, I mean, besides Halo, like, if we just want to keep it a buck, Bungie has been kind of a one-trick pony. Like, Marathon was, again, one of those original things that they made, before Halo became what it was. But Destiny, even though it's one of the best games as a service, it's just kind of just there. Like, you have your fan base, but they haven't done anything else to bring in like new people to the franchise. It's just, if you know Destiny, then that is what it is. Like, yeah, you're either going to play it or you're not. And that fan base, while strong, again, you're not bringing in new people and you don't have anything else. You're trying to make Marathon, and now, this news is coming out about, looking bad. And then all of a sudden now you're laying off people. It just looks terrible. But I will say one thing, Destiny 2 community, shout out to y'all for having some cojones and stepping up and and bleeding Bungie pockets, unlike other communities, 2K.
Hold on. You're right about 2K, but if we're gonna do this, let's really talk about it. Call of Duty, 4 out of 10.
Call of Duty
$70, that's like one of the worst games of the year. At least 2K tried to do new things this year. They listened to their community too much. But Call of Duty is one of the biggest jokes of fucking 2023, bro. $70 for a 4 out of 10.
It's tragic. It's tragic. So Sony right now is currently losing money by, investing in Bungie. I hope that whatever, or, whoever is left on Bungie's team can, at the end of the day, I don't think that Bungie is going to ultimately dismantle. Like, that would be literally the worst case scenario. Like, I don't think that's going to happen. Yeah. But if for some reason that does happen, I hope that you can, for whoever's left, like, get some of those resources and come up with a new IP. Like, Sony tried to do something with them, because at the end of the day, like, I think that they have some amazing, people, at the core of Bungie that can, possibly make something else good. But just Destiny, if that's all that you have right now, you're not going to really see any ROI with that. And I don't think that Marathon, which is an older title, is going to, revitalize what's going on at Bungie and give you that, that the next new good shooter, especially if it went from VR to Extraction. I don't think that we're in any of those phases where people want to play any of those type of shooters. So it's like, what are you doing at this point? I know that traditional FPSs are kind of seen as niche now, but I mean, VRs are out. Extraction is out as well. So it's like, I would rather just go back to a traditional FPS and give Sony that title. Yeah,
people crave it. They want their classic TDM and domination back. We're tired of VR. We're tired of Extraction. We kind of want to go back. The children yearn.
Or just something new.
Yeah, or just come up with some brand new.
Any takes on the Bungie stuff, KDot?
Man, I'm really not into Destiny or Halo like that anyway. I think it's crazy how they treating their, employees. I think it is kind of wild, especially after receiving, how much I just say, like something billion. And
like 7 billion that they,
you laying people off, so it's like, it's weird to me. That doesn't make sense, and it doesn't leave a good taste in anybody's mouth at all.
To give a different perspective, because I do feel like with the story about Marathon being trashed when they flew out all the streamers and nobody raised their hand, to give a different perspective, not to rag on Bungie too much, who you flew out does matter. They said they flew out a bunch of Escape from Tarkov streamers, but then they were showing off like a BR mode or some shit like that. I don't know. I know from personal experience, just because you're a streamer who plays a lot of games does not mean you are equipped to do QA in any type of game development. I know just from talking to somebody, there's a game that's coming out in a couple years, another BR, and this person was at an event and they was telling me that like they had a bunch of like TikTokers and streamers there just saying stupid shit like, oh, you should add this type of TikTok dance in the game, and like they're looking like for like real feedback on the game. So my thing is like, just because somebody streams the game doesn't mean they're qualified to talk about it. I think that's one of the reasons why this podcast is so successful. There's not a lot of people who talk about games at a high level, at an intellectual level, without insulting one another. Without insulting one another.
Go
and
fuck
just,
yourself.
a bunch of just ignorant shit. Like I don't know. Maybe you can speak to it, KDot. I just, from being in this space, just because you play a game does not mean you qualify to be a game developer.
No, that's facts. That's facts. A lot of people don't even qualify to be a streamer by just turning it on anyway, but they're winning right now.
Yikes.
That's people ain't ready to hear that.
Hey.
Next topic.
You're
gonna upset some people with that. That's true.
I don't know how y'all feel about this. I'm not gonna lie, I don't give a fuck about this topic, but the news is kind of light. BlizzCon, that happened recently, like 2 days ago, the opening ceremony. A few announcements. They announced a new character. Basically, Gibby from Apex was coming to Overwatch 2.
They put bro from Moana in there. That's what it was.
No, watch the trailer. He deadass has the shield and everything. He's just like Gibby. He sounds like him too. I'm like, is that the same voice actor?
Yeah.
They added a Diablo 4 expansion is coming out. You know what's funny? People were talking about Diablo 4 potentially being a game of the year, and then after that update, nobody mentioned it in this podcast.
No
expansion for Hearthstone. Oh, go ahead, Jeff.
I've completely like just went away from Diablo 4, but I might come back. Because there's a new character coming out, so I want to see what their new character class is. But you know, a lot of people again went away from Diablo 4 because they nerfed that game into the ground, and just nobody wanted to play it. People wanted to grind how they wanted to grind, and when they nerfed everything on grinding, people were like, "F this, I'm not even going to try it." So we're going to see, but I think that Diablo 4 might make a resurgence. That's the only thing I care about.
They announced the new World of Warcraft expansion, which, by the way, I'm not a fan of it, but can we give them their flowers at least? Like, this game came out in 2004, and it is still going. It is $15 a month to play this game, and motherfuckers are still paying that shit. I see people streaming this game all the time. I'm like, geez, they still going with that stuff. But is any of these nerd games speaking to you, KDot, Ethos?
Not nerd game. Oh, no, actually, no, none of them. I mean, I was kind of excited for the new character. The new dude from Moana and Overwatch.
Man, they put Maui in it, whole bro. Let's be real. They put Maui in it.
Other than that, nah, man, none of this stuff is really calling out to me at all. I mean, Diablo 4 getting a new character class was probably the coolest thing on this list. But like JG said, they already kind of lost. They kind of lost it by nerfing the game.
Yeah. Fine. Well, let's just go back to slandering Ubisoft. Skull and Bones delayed again.
What is what this game supposed to come out the same? What this game supposed to come out last month, right?
It's October.
Yeah.
It's supposed to come out this.
When Sonic came, like
yo, you know what's some funny
Sonic
shit?
Came out.
Not I can talk about this. I remember when G4 was still going. They were in talks with Ubisoft. They were planning to do sponsored content for Skull and Bones. That was a fucking year ago, bruh. This game's been fucking delayed like 5 times since then. So that got delayed again. And this happened during a earnings call and earnings report. And in that same call, it was also announced that another big mystery game was delayed, but they would not say what specifically it was. But most people are speculating it is the Star Wars game that they recently announced. What was the name of that game? Fucking the one with the girl with the pistol, the third-person shooter. Star Wars Ubisoft. I'm about to Google this shit. I don't know why I remember this shit. But yeah, people are speculating. Star Wars Outlaws. So that's being speculated because they were being very mysterious. They didn't say the name. I don't think it's going to be the Avatar game because that's supposed to come out next month. So what other game is it supposed to? That's the only big game we know they have coming down the pipeline. Let's hypothetically say Star Wars Outlaw is prolonged. Does that bother you? And what about Skull and Bones, Ethos?
I don't care. I want Star Wars. I'd rather play Star Wars than Skull and Bones. I've said this before. I don't care about that game. Like, I'll play it if it comes out just to see. Like, how long it's taking. I just feel like this is just like a train wreck just happening, like set on fire in a garbage bag. That is just like I just have to see how it concludes. So I'll try it out, but like I'm not holding my breath at this point.
And, you know, as fun as it is to slander Ubisoft, it is kind of also sad when you think about it, because we just had a conversation about Bungie being on the verge of collapse. Now we're talking about Ubisoft. It's like we're watching our legends kind of fall apart. And it's like, in reality, as fun as it is to slander them, if these big studios start falling apart, like what else is there left?
Good.
Hey, that's crazy, because Sony and Microsoft are just going to buy them all. Then it's just going to be those two, and then Nintendo just in there being the Yakuza there.
But Phil said they need to make some money, or they're going to stop making Xboxes soon. Do you remember that shit? I don't know if we want Xbox buying everything.
I don't.
I don't care for the Xbox, so that's fine with me.
I don't either, to be real with you.
I push the Game Pass, not a piece of plastic. Okay, I bring a virtual.
Let me differentiate.
Yeah, they're not the same. Me personally, I feel like I wish and I hope, and it seems like this has been a trend for the past decade. I want the industry to go to a way where the big corporations, the AAA studios, are failing on so many levels because one, a lot of them are failing to produce really good games. Second, they are failing to produce games that come out not broken, and they end up having a lot of issues. This has been a continuous pattern for the past, like I say, since like 2013. I feel like, I don't know why. I hate that. Oh man, it ties to Ubisoft again. I feel like Ubisoft broke the timeline with Assassin's Creed Unity. I feel like that game just broke something in the industry, and like every game since has been like basically trying to replicate. Like that always happens. So whatever happened with Unity at launch, with Assassin's Creed, it's happened, and now with constantly like a bunch of other games. And what I notice is I see a lot of like OGs, like the people that made the games that we love, that grew up with, they're now retiring or they're leaving the industry, and they're making brand new studios, and they're making these AA studios. I would like things to go back where developers are spending less time making smaller games that don't have the cutting edge graphics, that are just more enjoyable, that cost less to make and less to build.
That point you made about the OGs leaving is a very valid point. I watched a video essay last week about that. I didn't even know that. So like I knew that about Infinity Ward. Most of the talent.
Remember you said it about Warner Bros. Or remember what happened as a result?
Yeah, you're right. I know a lot of the talent that was originally working for Infinity Ward, they went to Respawn, and then you're saying that with them. Yep. But I didn't know that was happening on an industry level. And I watched the video essay that he was talking about that, and he was just like, you realize why a lot of these sequels lack the passion that the original games did. It's because the original people who worked on them are not there. It has the same studio name. I'm like, yeah, you're right. Rare isn't Rare anymore.
Rare anymore. Yeah,
it's not Banjo-Kazooie I grew up on. Yeah, I was like, damn. So like So the solution is there's two things. If these people are not passionate about making these franchises, you need to give them the space to create whatever art they want to make, and let them make new IPs. And then two, I don't know what it is, but these AAA studios need to sit down and say, who told us bigger makes better? Who told us? Every game does not.
We did.
No, we did not. No.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did. Back in
2012
and 2013, we told them we wanted bigger games. We wanted more beautiful looking games. We did that. All the gaming people, we did that. So we made them say, if your game doesn't have, remember that thing that now you say, remember that thing we said about now where you're just like, when the fuck did we all just say that the game needs to be 100 hours? Back in the day, that's what people were screaming about. Because Skyrim did that. Skyrim was a game that came out and had hundreds of hours of things to do, and then every game had to do what Skyrim did. If you didn't do what Skyrim did, it was not good. Remember all those games in 2015, Witcher, all the rest of them, they were like, we have to push bigger hours in their games. We have to make the games. Remember that was a selling point.
All right, gamers, let's get in the comment section. Let's rally.
It was us. We did this.
I want to see. I want to see more games. I want to see more games between the range of like 10 to 30 hours max.
Yes.
People were complaining Spider-Man is not. No, Spider-Man is long enough.
It was a good
20 hours. I'm good with that shit. I want to see more games like It Takes Two. I fucking love that game. It was like 12 hours creative.
I want experimental games. I want developers to actually like. That's what. Oh my god. This is why. This is why I love Titanfall 2. Because if you read if you research the development history of that game, the reason why it was so damn good was because the way they developed it was they let the developers go off and make just like experiment. For every week, we want you to make a cool sort of single player thing with some unique mechanic and go. And they just let them do this week after week after week. That's why that campaign is so memorable, is because you're never doing the same thing any time throughout the whole campaign. It's always adds a new twist. There's a new thing in it. That's why. And it's like, we've lost that because now, especially Ubisoft has lost this because now they're on such a schedule that we have to have this game out, this game out. So what do we do with an Avatar game? We just copy the Far Cry formula. And they just keep doing this every single time. It's the same reason I said, which was my prayer, when Microsoft acquired Activision, and I've said this, and I don't know why I'm like arguing with fucking Sledgehammer fanboys on the fucking Twitter today, but I've said this before. I said, I want Treyarch not to make a Call of Duty game. I want them to try something different. I don't want Sledgehammer to make a Call of Duty. I want them to try something different. I know they probably have a bunch of cool game ideas that they want to try, but they haven't been able to because Activision's like, you gotta make Call of Duty, gotta do it. And that's all they've been doing. And that's why what you said, so many veterans are leaving because it's
Respawn
like they
went
have
from Titanfall to Jedi Survivor.
Apex, they've become the problem.
It's a problem.
This is the thing.
But I'm saying it is
Respawn has become the problem. But Respawn has become the problem because
Damn.
what they originally did, they literally innovated. They created Titanfall, which then the whole industry tried to copy that like 4 or 5 years later. They all tried to make every game had to have a jump
Black
packs,
Ops
had to be able
3.
to, Black Ops, Call of Duty tried to copy it, right? Then what would happen? Apex then innovated again. They innovated the battle royale formula, and now they've been stuck doing that. That's all they've been doing in the FPS space. Is just same thing like Bungie. We're just making the same game over again. And I'm just, me personally, I mean, imagine you, TBH, if you had to make the same type of content year after year after year for almost a decade,
on you,
you'd lose your shit. You'd be done. You'd be like, I can't do this anymore. And you'd quit. You're like, I'm done with this. But of course, the higher ups, the executives are like, but this is bringing in the money. It's less of a risk because we know it makes us money. If we risk you on a new IP and it flops, we lose money. And maybe repeats.
Maybe the happy medium is for like new IPs, make it to where like, look guys, this is a risk being a new IP. We're gonna fund it, but what we want is a concise 10 to 15 hour adventure. And if it sells well, when the sequel comes out, go fucking crazy. Yeah, we expand. Yeah. Start small and then build from there, I think. Because I mean,
they need to make smaller games. They need to, like,
a lot of people change.
Hi-Fi Rush is exactly what you're talking about, TBH. Yeah. That is a perfect fucking example. It is a studio that did not make any sort of action game that Microsoft was like, hey, y'all want to do this? Go for it. It was a smaller game. It didn't take long. And what happened? People were like, what the fuck? This is awesome. And now people want more. Like, that's a perfect example of it. That's what we need more of. That's what I want to see more. I'm tired of this. I'm tired of Halo 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm tired of Call of Duty, Black Ops 5, 6, 7. I'm tired of this shit. Overwatch 1 and 2. I'm tired of this shit.
I miss the era of the trilogy.
I'm tired of it. Yeah, the trilogy.
And then just be done with it. Yeah, just
1, 2, 3. Call it. It's done. It's done. Make something different. I'm just tired of it, man.
So, to bring this back to Ubisoft though, like, Ubisoft now has the Avatar. They pay for Avatar rights and they pay for Star Wars rights. Imagine if both of those games flop. They're already saying in this article that they're doing a cost reduction plan. You know what that means? Every time you go into you're doing, exactly. You're doing a cost reduction, which is going to mean layoffs, bro. And it's like, bro, I really don't want to see it get to this point. Like, Ubisoft was in high regard like years ago. Like, Assassin's Creed was the top of the list, bro. The original Far Cry was at the top of the list. But again, like, we've seen too many Assassin's Creed. They said that they would stop. They said that they would stop working on Assassin's Creed, not do it every year, not do it annually. But now you're back to it. We've seen a resurgence with Assassin's Creed when Origins came out, then Odyssey.
Because they took a break.
They took a break, bro. Like, stop, dog. You gotta take breaks on this, but at the same time, again, make new IPs, bro. I swear to God, it won't hurt you to try something.
Call of Duty is a great example. Modern Warfare 3 is dog shit. I will wage war against that game, bro. $70 for maps.
Do you remember back in 2012 when Ubisoft was top of the world? They dropped Far Cry 3. Remember how crazy that shit was? And then they showed us Watch Dogs, and we were like, "What the fuck? This is next generation." Do you remember that? That was when they were at the. I would say that was when they were at the height.
Here's another perspective. We've gotten so old. We've reached a point where like people don't even remember why Ubisoft is even popular in the world.
Why they were good? Splinter Cell.
Their first Assassin's Creed was Syndicate or some shit.
They don't know what Splinter Cell is. None of the kids know what Splinter Cell is.
We've been screaming to bring Splinter Cell back.
Shit is
been screaming for it. You don't want to do it.
They don't want to do it, man. Something's got to give.
Make it a big. You could make it a small game. You could make it a 10-hour game, and I promise you, it'd probably be awesome.
I feel like we're in a bubble and it's gonna burst. But here's another perspective.
Like they need to go back to like the OG type of games, like the Splinter Cells and stuff like that, to like make a revenue, to make a money, to make a comeback.
The Ubisoft community's been screaming for Splinter Cell for a very long time. Since 2011.
Since after Blacklist.
But I think
That
people,
was
more than
when
anything,
we
people
had
want to see
Freddy.
new IPs more than anything.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that's the reason I bought a PS5 and Xbox Series X. That was half the excitement of buying a new console. It wasn't that it was just more powerful.
The new
You
IPs.
knew that there was going to be something new and cool coming with it. And that was like a thing when
Okay.
we were kids. It's not really a thing anymore. Like they're talking about Gears of War 6. Like I don't know, like, hey, I've been playing Gears of War since I was 15. Like, I'm 33. Like,
No, I'll make it even more
like, real
crazy.
shit.
I know people that said they played Destiny when they were like in 9th grade, and they're still playing Destiny, and they're like 23 years old. I actually know someone who told me that. And when you think about that, that's fucking insane. That's insane. That's
was
actually
not
someone went
a
through their
thing
entire
10
high
plus
school
years
and their
ago.
college. That was the thing. I remember when I grew up, right? When we all grew up, right? It used to feel like when a new generation had happened, there were new people showing up. There was new IPs. There was a shaking. When Xbox went from Xbox to 360 and they showed Gears, and Halo 3 was right on the height of that. That was like, you felt there was a shift. There was something like when people saw Gears for the first time, they were like, "Whoa, what the fuck is this? This is violent. It's blade, but it's cool. It's a third-person shooter. It's really cool." And PlayStation has been a good example of that, right? Like back in the day, we had Jack 2, we had Ratchet and Clank, right? Then they went into PS3 era. Then you had Last of Us. Then you had Uncharted. Then you go into then you have Horizon. But we don't have that now.
Let me bring it
It's
back
just
full circle. It goes
bring
back
them
to
back.
it goes back to the Spider-Man conversation we had earlier. Where is our Miles Morales?
Miles
this
Morales.
generation? In
Where
terms of
is he?
games, where's the Miles at?
Where's the new IP person?
Yeah, because I'm 25. I really haven't. It's not a game that makes me like. Nothing has me really stuck. It's always something new, where it's just a repeat of something else, and that makes me not want to play it. Like I haven't played Call of Duty probably since the actual Modern Warfare 2. Like yeah,
And that's
the OG
crazy you
one,
have to
like,
say that. Where you have to actually
Yeah.
say the original, not the remake, not the remaster, not the this OG one. Yeah. It's
Like none of those games really calling out to me. It's like it's something fun to play, but nothing makes me want to just like get immersed in it. Like you was talking about the Mass Effects, like the Splinter Cells, like all these other games. Nothing really is nothing new. It's like, okay, reskin it, add some extra stuff, give you more hours in the game, more gigabytes, and have fun.
I
with
remember
it.
me and TBH talked about this was when the Mass Effect, when the remaster set came out, the Legendary Edition, right? When that came out, I remember me and him were talking about it, and we both said we played it again. And the thing that we said almost simultaneously was they don't make them like this anymore. And it was when you think about it, you're like, damn, like when you're re-experiencing the game again. Of course, well, obviously there's nostalgia, but you're like, it still has something that you feel like a lot of games now don't have. A lot of games
like
feel
to give you
and
an
they don't have that
example.
anymore.
When I was in college when Mass Effect 3 came out, and I remember I was starving. I had like $60 in my bank account, and I had to make the decision: am I eating this week, or am I playing Mass Effect 3? Bitch, I bought Mass Effect 3, bro. I had to ask the homies on campus, like, yo, can I get your car? Can you give me some fries? Like, I had to beg that week, bro. There's no game that makes me feel like that anymore, like where I gotta play it. Like, there's times where like I'm on stream and like 2 to 4 hours, that's it, and I'm tired of fucking playing the game, bro.
Yeah, man, it's
You
nothing
literally
where
get
I can
burnt
just
out.
play the game for like hours on end anymore. It's like
hoodie
2 hours,
up,
I'm
the room
tired.
is dark, you in gremlin mode. I don't be on that no more, bro. I don't blame that
last
on
time
age.
they played a game that long was Millennia.
Yeah, the only two times I remember that was last time I gremlin was Cyberpunk. That was when I definitely
we gremlined Elden Ring. That was the first time in a long time.
We definitely gremlined Elden Ring.
I'll give you Elden Ring.
Siggy and Steve and I were up at 6 a.m. when the new generation of Pokemon came out because we were doing the Rage It. That was gremlining, and then
we used to gremlin Paragon.
PUBG and Paragon. Those two
Paragon,
we were gremlining like a motherfucker. Yeah, those two we were gremlining.
But those games were all different.
And Rainbow. But yeah, they were all
at the time they were innovative
at the time. Yeah. But now it's just like new BR coming out.
Oh yeah.
You know what, man? You know what? I'm gonna have to change my perspective, man. Regardless of what came out this year, man, I think they might be right, man. Gaming is stale, dog. I think gaming is stale because they don't have anything new, man. They don't have
new
anything
games
new.
to play, but it's not. It's like
2023 is an
alright,
anomaly.
It is.
definitely
You think so?
Yeah, this was a
to be
very
fair,
unique year.
To be fair,
Yeah.
I did feel that with Baldur's Gate. I felt that with Baldur's Gate 3. I really feel like it made me. It reminded me back of Mass Effect 1 and how Dragon Age when I was a kid. It reminded me of that same type of like hardcore RPG experience. And then what was the other one that came out this year that was like
Armor
really
Core?
good? Armor Core 2. Armor Core kind of what JG said too. The reason why Armor Core was because it was simple. It was here's level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and you just played through it, and it had a lot of customization. And I felt like it was a breath of fresh air. It wasn't trying to be. It was a breath of air from Elden Ring where it was like, oh my god, this game does not fucking end. This game was just like, hey bro, you're getting in a mech and you're gonna commit war crimes. That's what you do the whole game. Yeah, but I agree with you too. Like Elden Ring was definitely an anomaly because I remember we all played and we was like, this feels illegal. Like who did you sacrifice to make this game a reality? But when you look at those, they feel like anomalies outside of like when you look at the greater scape of like what's everybody else doing. You're just like.
It's crazy, bro. Somebody in the comment, let's go back and say how many episodes did we go without talking about Elden Ring? Can we talk about Elden Ring again?
Every
episode. It's the new bar, bro.
Yeah.
It's the new bar. It is.
I agree with Anon. Anon said back in 2015 when he played Witcher, he said, "Hey, Witcher's game of the year every year until a new game comes out." And then he told me, he said, when Elden Ring came out, he's like, "Elden Ring is game of the year every year until a new game comes out. They get dethroned it." So I get it. I get it. Yeah. Oh, did you hear about the DLC for that?
Yeah, supposed to.
He said he cooking. They said they cooking.
You think we'll get it at the Game Awards?
They said they cooking.
Like the announcement?
I think they're gonna announce it. They're gonna show us.
I don't know. I ain't got no faith. I thought it was supposed to come out in October.
I heard it's 2024, and based off the timing, I mean, they showed Armor Core last year. It seems like From loves showing stuff during there. I think they're gonna show the DLC for that. That'd be a fire way
I just hope when it comes out that it's not like traditional DLC. It's more of an expansion. Like it's meaty. Like give me like a good 10 to 20 hours. Like I want a full expansion.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I've been a little itching for the Elder. I've been, Liza P was cool and stuff, but I feel like it still wasn't hitting that Elden Ring type of.
I'm trying to slay them crack rocks again, boy.
I need to play my Dark Maul again. I miss it. So yeah.
Stupid, man.
Freaking. Here's some good news for Xbox fans. Microsoft is killing off compatibility of unauthorized Xbox accessories. If you don't understand what that means, to read between the lines for you, cheaters, you're all going to hell. If you use devices like Zens and Titans, like in 2K, they use that shit to help them shoot, get easy greens, or in Call of Duty, aimbot with the controller, basically. What they're doing is they're issuing an update which will block the software, which will keep the devices from working. So gaming on Xbox is about to improve. I really need Sony to copy this. Anybody's got any takes on this?
What about like, so I know somebody in LG who's really like he's handicapped, like he's paralyzed from like the neck down, and he used third-party accessibility to play on his Xbox. So I want them to try to figure out, the pros and the cons of that. Like, focus on what you just said, all the negative stuff, but actually still help out the people who really need the third party.
Wait. Are you saying he uses like a third party controller for disabled people? Nah, this is not going to affect them. This is for cheaters strictly.
Cool. Unauthorized, like what he was talking about. Like
that's what
a lot of those products are authorized.
That's what I remember. I wasn't too sure about. He made a tweet about it. He was upset, and I'm like, all right.
I think he just probably misunderstood what they were saying.
So I'm glad y'all cleared that up.
It is weird.
Nomad was telling me the one concern was I remember kind of not only the disability aspect, and it was good that Microsoft had built that like accessibility controller that like people who were disabled could still play. The other thing was too, I know Nomad was saying the FGC community was a little concerned about this too, because a lot of them have those like custom
fight stick,
right? And if there's like a Kickstarter one, or they like a little small company makes like a cool group buy, like a custom build one, or someone makes their own meme one, right? The thing would be they would go to like a tournament, and if they're all using Xboxes and they try to plug this thing in, it would deny it and it wouldn't work, and they wouldn't be able to use their own fight stick. Because this is going to be, you got to get approval through Xbox, but I guess the head of the what is the name of the big thing? Evo. He said he was going to be talking with Microsoft sometime soon to specifically find a way to get around this, or have a way where maybe their specific Xboxes will have not this rule, but that's
as long as there's a good communication line. Like if there's a good communication line for whatever device that they're using, like the company and the coordinators need to talk to Xbox and this device should be approved. As long as it's approved, then it shouldn't be a problem. But if it is an unauthorized device, then they would run into those issues.
Whatever, I'm all for screwing over cheaters, especially motherfuckers doing the Zim shit.
Fuck them.
I gotta play with the motherfuckers in crossplay.
Must be dealing with cheaters, bro. Y'all done said something about cheaters.
All right, 2K folks. Now you gotta go back in that gym.
You play a lot of
You don't play a lot of shooters. You don't play a lot of shooters, so that's why you're not used to it. Yeah.
A lot of cheaters are in the FPS.
And,
They don't really.
and then also 2K is having a serious problem right now because in 2K24 they made it harder to shoot. The community asked for a skills gap. The developer put it in. Now niggas is crying. And if you go on, somebody posted it on Twitter. If you go on Amazon, they use a device called a Titan that helps it auto green. The sales are up like 5,000%. Niggas is cheating out the woo wall in that game right now. After crying, they wanted
the thing where they're doing the rope thing where they're practicing.
Well, they're doing that too. That's what I was saying.
Oh, okay.
You saw that same tweet.
I saw that Twitter. I was like, what the hell is? What am I looking at?
Yeah, they be doing that so they can get their gym workouts. I'm like, bro, y'all are doing.
Wait, so why are you doing gym workouts in a basketball? Like,
I don't do that. I don't do that shit.
You have to know to get your boost. You have to know to get your
play
boost.
the game.
It makes you a little faster, a little stronger. I don't do that shit, bro. I just play hoops, bro.
So y'all be just hitting ropes just so you get a little
niggas
buff?
Be doing virtual workouts, but not real ones. That shit crazy.
Yeah, I was like, what?
That shit crazy.
Yeah, that's wild.
Not in my basketball game. Got a couple more things before we wrap this up. Somebody, who the fuck put this on my damn notes?
I put that on there.
You're right. I forgot about this. All right, so the day before, one of the most notorious games on the internet for the last year, people were calling it, for the first, people were excited about it because this is supposed to be the new big zombie apocalypse game comparable to like, this is what people wanted the DayZ to be like, but then some problems came out. People were saying it's fake. They lost the trademark on their name. No gameplay had came out around the release time. So people were screaming fake game. They just put out a new trailer. So now the community's hyped again. So JG, is this a fake game or not?
Hey, they saying it's real, man. They saying it's real. They said they got the brand, man, the developers said they got their name back because that was the big controversy, right? And they said that the Steam page is going to come back. And the release got slightly delayed to December 7th. So we are going to see next month if the game is going to come out. They said 10 p.m. PST. So
if this game is added, it's going to be a shit show on YouTube. It's going to be
supposed to be a new zombie apocalypse game. That's what you said?
Yeah.
Y'all not tired of killing zombies?
I'm tired of it. Anytime I hear open world survival with crafting and base building, I turn my brain turns.
As soon as I see that shitty ass interface where you drop shit into it,
drop the walls. I'm like, nope,
nigga, I'm out.
Nope, not falling for that.
What was that zombie game that came out this year that everybody just thought was gonna be the next biggest?
Red Island 2.
Yes, Dead Island 2.
It
was another one too before that came in earlier that year. What was it? It was another zombie game. It was a bunch of zombie games this year. I can't remember what it was.
The zombie genre is so boring to me because like nobody innovates on it, and
it's the same thing.
Oh, Dying Light 2? Wait, that didn't come out this year.
That was last year. No.
I was about to have a hard. I was like, bro, no fuck.
The problem with zombies is it's hard to innovate on them because they're such stupid enemies. So it's like, what do you do with it? You know?
You make them more feral.
I guess. Like, how do you make them more feral?
I mean, you know who did it the best? Left 4 Dead. Hunters, remember how they jump you and shit, and the bloaters and shit. Shout outs to Valve. They innovated that shit, and no one's been able to one up Left 4 Dead. It's always been the best.
I think it's something else when I hear the word feral, but teach us so.
Go ahead, explain that. Go ahead, break that down for us, TBH.
What do you mean by that?
So my girl be saying.
Go ahead, yeah, go ahead.
Be hella feral. I know JG know about it. She said you got one on the way, boy.
Hey man, yeah, got one on the way.
Oh shit, hella feral out here.
Keep it. Y'all got that.
So yeah, keep an eye on that. That one's supposed to be coming in December. Apparently, it is not a fake game. And then last but not least, just a quick explanation. People were wondering if Modern Warfare 3 was going to be on the Game Pass this year. It will not. And Phil Spencer took to Twitter to explain why. The gist of it is basically they weren't 100% sure whether or not the merger was going to go through with Activision and Xbox. So they pumped the brakes on whether or not the games will come to the platform because it takes time to implement them into the platform. So if you are going to see Activision games in the Game Pass, it'll be next year, not this year. Pump your brakes, guys. I don't know why anybody thought that they would just instantly put Call of Duty on there. I'd imagine there's a bunch of legal issues and shit like that. But there's a chance that Call of Duty could become a pseudo free-to-play game if they put it on Game Pass. But it's not going to be till next year. Does anybody care about this?
I mean, It seems more of an obvious point, but again, the Xbox started, jumping for joy, and they're like, "Oh, we're gonna get all the Activision games right now." Like, come on, it's a process. It was literally a process, a year, like 2-year process, just to get Activision in the first place. So, just hold on, it'll be there eventually.
And that's all I got on my show notes. Does anybody got anything else they want to add before we wrap this one up?
Sledgehammer's bad at Call of Duty games.
Why is that even a debate? They've never made a good Call of Duty.
he been battling people in the comments. That's why he's heated.
I've been arguing with people on Twitter today about it, and I don't know where all these fanboys came from to defend them, bro.
The only thing I can think of, this revisionist history.
They're lying and saying that Infinity Ward did the story for 3, and I was like, no, that's not true. I literally have an image right here from an article saying that it was Sledgehammer. But
I was gonna say, a lot of times the reason a person loves something is because they lack a self-awareness. They don't even know it. It's not even because it's necessarily good. It's because where they started. So somebody's Call of Duty, their first Call of Duty might have been a Sledgehammer game.
Advanced
so to them,
Warfare.
that's the best one because it gave them that first high versus playing like Black Ops 2 or some shit like that.
Imagine your first Call of Duty was Ghost. Oh my god.
Chaos loves that shit.
I know.
Chaos is a little, in the brain, so.
It is what it is. But yeah, that's all I got on my show notes. If y'all got nothing else, we're gonna wrap it up. We hit the 2-hour mark. Another successful 2-hour show. You are our guest, KDot. What is your closing statement for Game and Illuminati episode 148? Go.
Oh, that is crazy. I got a close statement, but I'm just blessed to be up here with some other wonderful black men for real, because it's kind of reassuring. It's kind of like a blessing to really be around some people that I really been looking up to for a few years. So, hey, y'all just stay the course, see it through, because you never know where you might be in a few years, man. Just stay your path. You're gonna be where you want to be. Chase your dreams, and never be scared to be yourself. That's what I got to say.
Where do people find you, by the way?
Oh, KDot the God. GAWD, not GOD. No disrespect to the God above. But I'm on everything. I stream on Twitch 11 a.m. EST every day, Monday through Friday.
This nigga got a schedule.
Yeah, that's what I do for a living. You feel me?
Out here grinding.
I respect it.
Absolutely.
Everywhere, man. Everywhere, though. TikTok, Twitter, IG. I'm even on, I don't even know what app the IG got now. That's supposed to be fake Twitter. I'm on that. So I'm on everything. Literally check me out. You're going to love the content. You're going to love me. You're going to love my energy. So check your boy out, please.
There will be a link in the description box. Well, multiple links in the description box below if you guys want to check out his content. Ethos, what's your closing statement for episode 148? Go.
Damn, I was hoping you would pick JG.
Shut the fuck up, bro. Say something.
I am me first. I am darkness.
No, we get Kid out of pass. He a guest. He didn't know. My fault.
Yeah.
I like to make sure everybody's included. Despite what some people like to say in the comments, I like to make sure everybody's included. It's not about me.
It's funny because we always do that. I mean, we rarely have guests, but whenever we do have a guest, they always go first.
Yep.
It's just common courtesy. I don't know. They don't really teach that to Gen Z, do they?
Why am I catching strays? Like, I'm probably one of the one Gen Zs that you actually fuck with.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
But thanks everybody for watching. It was great chopping it up once again about video games, and shout outs to the random people that recognized me last week at the card shop. I will be finding a new place to play cards because you guys figured out where I was.
Hey, bro, Ethos low-key been talking about this like every week. Like, Ethos, he out here in Detroit, bro.
I'm moving around, so if you do randomly see me, feel free.
What card game you be playing?
I play Magic. So, if anybody plays Magic, if anybody plays Magic the Gathering or is interested in learning how to play Magic the Gathering, I play a format called Commander. It's like 4 players playing against each other simultaneously. If you're interested, follow me on Twitter. And maybe, I don't know, we'll do some content. We need to get more black people in Magic. There you go. That's it.
He said we need more warlocks.
And we need sponsorships.
JG, what's your closing statement for 148? Go.
Yes, sir. Appreciate everybody for listening to this episode whenever you get to it. Again, my son is on the way next week, so we'll try to find out what my new schedule will be like. Obviously, we want to keep this podcast going, keep the content going, but just bear with me.
You got a name?
A little bit.
Yeah, did you announce his name yet?
Kai.
Or you not? Oh, that's why I was
remember I told you.
Okay, yeah, that's why.
You like, man, don't use that name. Hold
on. What's the inspiration behind it?
My wife likes the name.
Oh, okay.
Well, how do people like it? A lot of people like it. A friend of mine has a son, and his name is Kai. I have a friend who's her name is Kai, and Bliss Kai. So now I got 4 people I know in my life that have Kai.
Kai's an ad.
My
like
actual name is Kai, so it's a W. I'm ready.
Okay,
all right. There's another one.
Yeah, so my wife really liked the name. And then I think it's in Hawaiian or Polynesian or Samoan that it means ocean. So
how does Jubilee feel about like? Is she excited to have?
She's super excited, but we're going to see what happens when he actually gets
when he appears.
That's the real test. But she's saying she's super excited, asking about him every day. So we'll see. But yeah,
So
so I appreciate y'all. And then I also want to give a shout out to our boy KL. I know that you saw me and Ethos wearing these vibes that look like we're Nightwing, and Ethos had the comic right there. So it's called System 17. So again, it is conjunction with the comic, and the comic is based off of like alternate fashion, like new age fashion. So that's why you're seeing like this visor, and he also has an entire set coming like shirts and pants and a jacket as well. So this is like
Black
an entire
comic
lineup.
books?
Yeah, an entire lineup that's based off of the comic. So check them out. It's system17.co. Everything is made in the US and LA, so it's made to order. So if you want to check it out again,
American business.
Yeah. So KL/Arthur.
Yeah, outsourcing.
Because he took care of us as well. So he was one of the people who brought us to play Paragon back in the day. Yeah, OG, he's still there.
He showed me Fortnite for any of you knew it existed.
Yeah, we knew it was not wrong.
He's not wrong.
I played Fortnite for anyone else knew what it was.
It was in a little corner, and it was it was a little corner. But yeah, so shout out to him. I just want to shout him out and
do me
thank you.
Do me a favor and make sure to send me the link to that so I can put it. We're gonna put a link in the description box below if you guys want to support the comic book as well as the glasses. Make sure to send me that stuff.
He just DM'd me, so I'll have.
Make sure to give me that info so when I upload the stuff. And then my closing statement for episode 148 is always, we appreciate you guys for checking out the show. Do me a favor, if you made it to this far in the show, if you made it to the end, hit the like button, rate the show 5 stars, and comment in the comment section of the video version, hashtag God Squad, so we know you made it this far to support the show. Other than that, we appreciate you guys for checking out the show, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.